Chapter 5095. In the distance, endless rays of light appeared, and the phantom of a phoenix soared into the 9 heavens. In that phantom, a group of figures appeared. Among them was a woman dressed in purple, like a fairy descending from the 9 heavens. "Look, it's Morong Chingcheng!" The surrounding people exclaimed. One after another, the crowd glanced toward the direction of the battle. Those martial artists were all stunned. So beautiful. Even those fairies and princesses were shocked. It was as if they were dim compared to the other party. Allure. Lin Xian took a deep breath. As expected, the other party had also come. The people of the Phoenix clan were invited in. At this moment, a group of people from the Heavenly Rock clan also walked over. The leader was a man with a powerful aura and a handsome face. He was like a god that had descended to the mortal world. Flawless Bailey was actually him. Countless cries of surprise rang out. This was the #1 genius of the Heavenly Rock clan. An existence that could compete with the Emperor. He was the one who had initiated the gathering. His goal was to pursue Morong Chingcheng. Soon these people were invited in. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian wanted to move, and the others also wanted to follow and take a look. At this moment Lei Shan said, "Those fairies of the Phoenix clan, we don't have a chance, so don't think about it. However, I can introduce you to someone. He's a genius of the Heavenly Rock clan. With him taking care of you, it'll be much easier for you to do things in the future." As soon as these words were said, Bei Yi and the others were also moved. Indeed, a genius like Morong Chingcheng could only look at them from afar. It would be better to get to know a genius of the Heavenly Rock clan. That would be more practical. Just you wait. After saying that, he turned around and left. At this moment, he realized that Lin Xian and the others didn't pay attention to him at all. Instead, they directly walked outside. This made Lei Shan frown. "Stop, kid. Don't you understand what I said? I told you to wait here," Lin Xian said. "I'm not interested in the genius you mentioned. Are you still going to block my way? Not interested? You don't have the final say here." Lei Shan felt that he had lost face. How could an ant dare to be so arrogant in front of him? He snorted coldly. A few people from the Thunder clan walked over and said, "Kid, I advise you to stay here obediently. Otherwise, I'll make you crawl out today." Bei Yi and the others left as well. They came over and said, "Brother Lin, just wait. It won't hurt to wait a little longer." Lin Xian said, "Brother Bei Yi, thank you for bringing me here. However, I do have some matters to attend to, so I won't accompany you." As he spoke, he led the Crimson Divine Dragon and the Toad forward again. "Let's see who dares to leave this place." Lei Shan shouted angrily as terrifying lightning burst out from his body. Those from the Lei Dong clan also pulled out their swords and sabers, preparing to attack. In the garden, the others frowned, but no one came to interfere. The expression of the guards outside changed, and they wanted to go in. At this time, they stopped and saw a few figures coming from outside the garden. "Take the lead and make a decision." They hurriedly bowed and greeted young Master Fei. That man nodded and walked in. "Who dares to make a move in our Tianpeng clan? Are you tired of living?" A cold voice sounded, causing the expressions of those in the garden to change. The genius of the Tianpeng clan had arrived. Lei Shan smiled and jogged over. "Brother Fei, you're here." "Brother Fei, I'm sorry. We didn't mean to break the rules. It's just that some people are too reckless. I'm prepared to teach them a lesson." As he spoke, he looked at Bei Yi and the others and waved his hand, saying, "Hurry up and greet Brother Fei. Brother Fei is the genius of the Tianpeng clan. If you follow Brother Fei in the future, I guarantee that you'll have a meteoric rise." Hearing this, Bei Yi, Jialuo, and the others hurriedly bowed and greeted young Master Fei. The others also looked over, each of them with surprise and envy. However, there were 3 figures standing there, unmoved. Seeing this, Bei Yi and the others whispered, "Brother Lin, hurry up and greet young Master Fei." They were all anxious. Jialuo and the others shook their heads and sighed. This Brother Lin was a bit impulsive. "I'm afraid that the outcome won't be good." Lei Shan's face instantly darkened. "Brat, do you want to die? Young Master Fei is here, and you dare to not greet him. Do you believe that I won't break your legs and make you kneel here?" Lin Xian, on the other hand, laughed. "How arrogant. If I greet him, Will he dare to accept it? Hearing this, the surrounding people's expressions changed. Could it be that this brat wants to challenge the Tianpeng clan? Lei Shan sneered. What a reckless brat. It seemed that he didn't need to do anything. The Tianpeng clan would kill him. He looked at Brother Fei, but he was stunned, because he realized that Brother Fei wasn't angry. Instead, there was a trace of shock in his eyes. In the next moment he walked forward. Young Master Lin, it's you. Why are you here? Lei Shan was stunned. He knew Bai Li Fei? That was too unbelievable. Wasn't he just an ant? How could he know such a person? Bei Yi and the others were also stunned. If Lin Xian knew Bai Li Fei, would he still need them to lead the way? They didn't understand. Lin Xian looked forward and laughed. Seems like you're getting more and more impressive. Bai Li Fei's expression changed. He could indeed be impressive in front of others, but he didn't dare to do so in front of Lin Xian. However, he was still shocked. What are you doing here? Don't tell me you want to ruin the party? He knew that the person Morong Qingqing liked was Lin Xian. And the number one genius of their clan was pursuing Morong Qingqing. He definitely had a purpose for appearing at this time. He turned and wanted to leave. Lin Xian patted his shoulder and said, "Long time no see. Why don't you have a drink with me?" As he spoke, a trace of cold light appeared in his eyes. The golden light carried the runes of reincarnation, and instantly entered Bai Li Fei's mind. Bai Li Fei's expression changed. Since Lin Xian dared to attack him, he shouted angrily and tried to block with all his strength. However, he realized that his soul was instantly suppressed. A reincarnation mountain released a terrifying aura. Lin Xian's voice sounded in his mind. Since you know my identity, I have to take some measures. Don't worry, as long as you don't want to die, I won't make things difficult for you. During this gathering, I will control you first. After the gathering, your soul will recover. After speaking, Lin Xian patted Bai Li Fei's shoulder again. Bai Li Fei was shocked. During this time, his strength had improved by leaps and bounds. But why was the gap between him and Lin Xian getting bigger and bigger? He had lost to Lin Xian before, but now? He couldn't even withstand a glance from Lin Xian. Then he realized that he couldn't control himself anymore. He couldn't even speak. As for Lin Xian's true identity, he couldn't report it to his clan. Lei Shan was also stunned. He didn't know why Bai Li Fei was so silent. However, Bai Li Fei's previous actions showed that he knew Lin Xian, so he didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked at Lei Shan with a smile on his face. Didn't you want me to kneel down? Didn't you want to show off in front of me? Lei Shan's face became extremely ugly. He gritted his teeth and said, "What are you trying to do?" Lin Xian sneered and secretly controlled Bai Li Fei. Bai Li Fei received the order, and a cold light appeared in his eyes. He slapped Lei Shan's face. "Stupid thing. How dare you be so rude to young Master Lin? Do you want to die? Kneel down." With that, he waved his hand and chopped off Lei Shan's legs. Lei Shan fell to the ground and screamed crazily. He kept kowtowing. "Young Master Lin, I was wrong. I didn't recognize Mount Tai. Please spare my life." The people from the Lei Dong clan were so scared that their scalps went numb. Bei Yi, Jia Luo, and the others were also shocked. This brother Lin with them actually had such an identity. Chapter 5096. At this moment, the garden became lively again. That was because a group of people had arrived from outside. The person leading the group was Bailey Wuck. Bailey Wuck said, "Qingqing, for you, I have specially built this garden. I have gathered all the immortal flowers in the world. There is a group that is extremely rare. It is called Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens. This is a flower that I have spent a lot of effort to obtain. I have specially prepared it for you to admire." The people from the Phoenix clan were also surprised. Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens? It was indeed a legendary immortal flower. Merely, it had not appeared for tens of thousands of years. It would appear that Bailey Wuck was truly considerate. The eyes of some people from the Phoenix clan flickered. To them, it would be extremely good if Morong Qingqing could marry Bailey Wuck. They would be able to obtain a powerful ally for their Phoenix clan. However, at this moment Qingfeng sighed. She knew that it was impossible. The reason for that was because of the existence of that person. Furthermore, That person had already grown up and was crowned king. Qingcheng, follow me. The group of people entered the flower appreciation garden. When the people in the flower appreciation garden saw Morong Qingcheng, Bailey Wuck, the people from the Phoenix clan and the Heavenly Rock clan, they were all surprised. They immediately went to welcome them. Lin Xian was also surprised. Originally, he had wanted to go and meet them. He did not expect that they would actually come. Thinking of this, he began to walk forward. The people in front of him stopped. Bailey Wuck stood with his hands behind his back. He had an arrogant expression on his face. Apart from Morong Qingcheng, it seemed that he would not smile at anyone else. He was accepting the worship of these people. On the other side, Morong Qingcheng also had an expressionless face. However, when she saw a figure, she was surprised. In the next moment, her eyes turned red. Then an extremely beautiful smile appeared on her face. At this moment, everyone was stunned. It was as if the world had lost its luster. Even the immortal flowers in the garden could not match her smile. Even Bailey Wuck, who was standing on the side, was startled. He had never seen Morong Qingcheng reveal such a sweet smile. Who was it because of? It was definitely not because of any genius. It should be because of the immortal flowers in the garden. Thinking of this, Bailey Wuck also smiled. It seemed that the flower appreciation garden that he had meticulously prepared had indeed won her favor. He might be able to succeed in one fell swoop. However, at this time, he was stunned because he found that the people in front of him had stopped at a certain distance and were worshipping it. However, there was only one person who continued to stride towards him. His brows furrowed tightly. Who was so rude? Was he courting death? The others were also stunned and raised their heads to look ahead. What's going on? Who was this kid? What was he trying to do? Lei Shan and the others were also stunned. Their faces turned ugly. Even though he was extremely arrogant earlier, before Bai Li Fei, he was like a lackey, much less before Wuck. The other party could probably kill him with a single glance, but what about now? There was actually someone who dared to challenge Flawless Bailey. He could not believe it. Stop! At this moment, someone from the Heavenly Rock clan shouted angrily. However, Lin Xian did not stop at all. They were enraged. They drew their swords and sabers and were about to attack. Lin Xian shouted, "I finally meet you." Morong Qingcheng also walked out and threw herself into Lin Xian's arms. Brother Xian. This scene stunned everyone, and even their eyeballs fell to the ground. What the heavens? What was going on? The legendary Phoenix prodigy, Morong Qingcheng, ignored Flawless Bailey's pursuit. It made people think that she would only marry an emperor. But now, she actually threw herself into the arms of an unfamiliar young man. What was going on? Who was this young man? Could it be that he was an emperor from a great emperor family? Flawless Bailey was also stunned. He could not believe that the goddess he had pursued for a long time had already been obtained by someone else. He felt like he was going crazy from anger. Moreover, this person was so unfamiliar. He did not feel any terrifying aura from him. It was even more impossible for him to be an emperor. That was because he had seen the portraits of those emperors. He had always paid attention to their movements. There was definitely no such person. But why? Damn it! With a roar, heaven and earth shook. Many people's blood boiled, and they vomited blood. Morong Qingcheng also raised her head. She saw Flawless Bailey staring at Lin Xian with a pair of cold eyes. She immediately blocked in front of Lin Xian. She shouted coldly, "Flawless Bailey, what are you doing?" Who was he? Bailey Wuxia asked coldly. His voice was abnormally cold, like 10,000 years of ice. Even the members of the Phoenix clan were stunned. Qing Feng wanted to say something, but she was controlled by Lin Xian's eyes. Lin Xian's voice rang out. "During this time, I will control you." After saying that, Qing Feng felt that her soul was out of control. She could not say a word. Lin Xian walked out and said, "My name is Lin Xian. Qingcheng is my woman." When these words came out, everyone went crazy. Morong Qingcheng's man. Lin Xian. Damn it, who is this guy? How come they never heard of him? Which mountain did he run out from? Why was Morong Qingcheng looking at him? Angry shouts rang out one after another. Bailey Wuxia did not dare to believe it. He roared, "Qingcheng, tell me this is not real. Murong Qingqing shook her head. This is real. I already told you, I have a husband. But you did not believe me. After saying that, she pulled Lin Xian's hand and said, Brother Xian, let's go. The two of them did not care about those people's gazes and walked out. At this time, Bailey Wuxuan shouted angrily, Damn it, I carefully prepared the immortal flower for you, but you ignored it. What do you think I am? Murong Qingqing stopped and said, I never asked you to do anything. It was just your wishful thinking. Lin Xian also laughed. Oh, Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens. Let me see. Is it really the legendary Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens? You can't make it. I think you are a liar. Someone like you dares to call yourself the #1 genius? After saying that, he gave the dark red dragon a look. The dark red dragon sneered twice, indicating that it understood. Bailey Wuck was angry. Damn it, not only did the other party take away the goddess he liked, but he even dared to challenge him. Stupid ant, what do you know? The people of the Tianpeng race also roared crazily. Today, I will open your eyes. I will let you see what a real immortal flower is. As they spoke, they shot out a law. 10,000 flowers bloomed. In the land of 10,000 flowers, the phantom of a phoenix soared into the sky. The phoenix's cry swept through the 9 heavens. Countless people looked up. Heavens, it really is the Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens. The people of the Tianpeng race were proud. Do you see that? This is. Before they could finish speaking, they were stunned, because they realized that something unbelievable had happened in front of them. Chapter 5097. They discovered that the legendary blooming of 10,000 flowers and Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens were rapidly disappearing. They even withered. What was going on? The people of the Heavenly Rock clan were all stunned. Why did this happen? These thoughts might have been carefully prepared by them, and they had spent endless effort to find them. Some of them had already disappeared outside, especially the most important Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens. At this moment, they had also withered. Damn it, they wanted to create a formation to protect it, but it was useless. When Lin Xian saw this scene, he sneered. What Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens? It was just an illusion. Do you think you can fool everyone in the world? After saying that, Lin Xian waved his hand, and all the flowers turned into ashes and disappeared. Let's go. He then left with Murong Qingqing and the other two. Countless people were stunned. Was this an illusion? However, the people of the Phoenix clan were shocked. There was no lack of experts among them, so they naturally knew that it couldn't be an illusion. How did the other party do it? The garden was protected by an extremely terrifying array formation, and the other party had managed to do it without a sound. This method was really amazing. The people of the Heavenly Rock clan roared angrily and grabbed that kid. Bailey Wuck snorted coldly. No one had ever dared to challenge him. No one dared to slap his face in public. Now that this person had done it, he wouldn't let him go. However, when he looked in front of him, he realized that the other party had already disappeared without a trace. Damn it, find him. They searched frantically. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing had already left through the spatial power of the Void Beast. They came to the other side. The toad and the dark red dragon were standing guard. Lin Xian and Bailey Wuck stood on the mountain peak, snuggling together and telling each other about their experiences. Brother Xian, congratulations, you've finally been crowned. Murong Qingqing raised her head and said with a smile. Lin Xian also said. The coronation wasn't the end. At the very least, they had to kill the Dragon Prince. You have to be well prepared for this matter. The Dragon Prince was the Emperor's son, and he was also one of the dragons. His trump cards were too powerful. It was not easy to kill him. Murong Qingqing frowned. Lin Xian said, Don't worry, I'm already planning it. But this time, other than cultivating, I have more important things to do. What is it? Murong Qingqing was surprised. Lin Xian replied, Of course it's the Phoenix clan that's proposing. When I'm not around, there are always some flies trying to get you. I'm here to tell the world that you're my woman. After Murong Qingqing heard him, her face blushed immediately. She nodded obediently. However, he seemed to have thought of something. The Phoenix race seemed to think highly of the Tianpeng race, So they joined hands to carry out this matter. Older brother Xian, you have to be careful if you want to go to the Phoenix clan. Lin Xian said that it was fine. Oh right. How did you resolve your grudge with the Phoenix clan? Didn't they want to kill you and take your bloodline? Morong Qingqing said. It was a long story. The Jade Lake, Kunlun, and even the Queen Mother of the West had joined hands with the Phoenix clan. The two sides had reached an alliance. When necessary, the Jade Lake would use the Desolate Tower to help. Only then did the Phoenix clan agree. Moreover, the Phoenix clan also has a bloodline. The Grand Elder accepted me as his disciple. Lin Xian also understood after hearing this. In the following days, the two of them stayed together and were very happy. On the outside, an endless storm had been stirred up. The proud daughter of the Phoenix clan, Morong Qingqing, actually left the Tianpeng race's gathering with another man. It directly slapped young Master Wu's face. How could the Tianpeng race let this go? When this matter spread out, countless people were in an uproar. Even the people of the Phoenix clan were stunned. They all began to investigate. Who was the other party? However, there was no trace of the other party's background. They only knew that the other party seemed to be called Lin Xian. The people of the Phoenix clan frowned. They had never heard of this name. Damn it. Could it be an old friend of Qingqing's? Did he come from the origin planet? Humph, no matter where he came from, he is just an ant. How could he win against the genius of the Phoenix clan? The Phoenix clan was very dissatisfied. They were also frantically searching. However, they still could not find the two of them. While they were going crazy, Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing walked out of the real world. Lin Xian said, "Let's go to the Phoenix clan." The two of them flew towards the Phoenix clan. When they arrived, the people of the Phoenix clan were also shocked. "Qingqing, are you okay? Are you hurt? Did this brat threaten you? Men, take him down." The Phoenix clan elder shouted angrily. However, Morong Qingqing said, "Don't do anything to him. He is my husband. I am not threatened." The people of the Phoenix clan were stunned. Husband? Damn it. What the hell is going on? Men, take Qingqing down to rest. The elder waved his hand and stared at Lin Xian. Morong Qingqing said, "I can go and rest, but you are not allowed to hurt her. Otherwise, don't blame me for being hostile." Lin Xian looked at Qingqing and smiled. "Don't worry, they can't hurt me." Morong Qingqing nodded and left with the people of the Phoenix clan. She knew how much of a commotion her actions had caused. Therefore, she had to give the Phoenix clan an explanation. The remaining people were furious after hearing this. The other party was too arrogant. They couldn't hurt him. Cold gazes were all fixed on Lin Xian. Lin Xian was fearless. The toad and the dark red dragon looked around disdainfully. The dark red dragon snorted. "Why? Is this how the Phoenix clan treats their guests? Shouldn't they invite us in?" The people of the Phoenix clan gritted their teeth. They couldn't wait to kill this brat. Inviting him in for tea? What a joke. However, the elder of the Phoenix clan frowned. The situation here had attracted the attention of countless people. He had no choice. He snorted and said, "Come in." He led the way and brought Lin Xian and the other two to a large hall. Then he left. There were only Lin Xian and the other two in the hall. There were countless guards outside, obviously to prevent them from escaping. After about half a day, a middle-aged man walked over. His face was dark as water. He said coldly, "You are Lin Xian?" Lin Xian looked at him, stood up, and nodded. The middle-aged man said and left, disappearing in front of Qingqing. Lin Xian said, "What if I choose not to?" The middle-aged man was stunned. He didn't expect this brat to dare to challenge his clan. He smiled. "Young man, are you not clear about the situation? Do you know where this is? This is the Phoenix clan, the clan of the great emperor. No one can behave atrociously here. I advise you to restrain yourself. The great emperor clan is an overlord of the universe. Who dares to behave atrociously here? They will be suppressed." Chapter 5098. However, the middle-aged man was destined to be disappointed. Lin Xian didn't care about this kind of threat at all. He said indifferently, "I'm just here to tell you that Qingqing is my woman. So if you dare to let her marry another family, Don't blame me for being impolite. Hearing this, the middle-aged man went crazy. Was the other party threatening him? He didn't dare to believe that no one had ever dared to threaten him. An ant dared to behave atrociously in a Thearchus family. Kid, what right do you have to say such words? What family are you from? What's your background? Not to mention your family, are you a top genius yourself? Can you compete with Bailey Wuck? Can you compete with the Tharch? You can't do anything. What right do you have to say that Morong Qingqing is your woman? Humph. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. You're underestimating me too much. You don't know my strength at all. I'm alone now, and I can't do anything to the entire Phoenix clan. However, it's impossible for you to kill me. As for the geniuses of the other families, Bailey Wuck, who you think highly of, is just SOSO in my eyes. I've never been afraid of anyone in the younger generation. Even the Tharch is only on equal footing with me. Lin Xian's voice was domineering. The middle-aged man was stunned after hearing this. The other party wasn't afraid of the Tharch? What kind of joke was this? He snorted coldly and said, "Good boy, if you really have the strength, then our Phoenix clan won't reject you. How about this? In half a month, our Phoenix clan will hold a banquet. At that time we will invite geniuses from all over, and we will even invite Bailey Wuck. You can compete with each other. If you can win, then we will acknowledge your relationship with Qingqing. Otherwise, please disappear immediately and never appear again." In his opinion, the other party only dared to talk big. When it came to competing with strength, the other party would definitely not dare to make a move. Lin Xian smiled after hearing this. "All right, I'll wait. Half a month, right? Go ahead and call people. Even if you call the Qilin Sun and the Dragon Prince, I'm still not afraid." The middle-aged man snorted coldly and turned to leave. If he stayed any longer, he would probably go crazy from anger. The guards outside also felt cold after hearing this. Humph. What a fool. He probably doesn't know how terrifying the Crown Prince is. Lin Xian raised his head to look at the sky. So what if the Phoenix race has them? How dare he block his path? Half a month later, he would let these people know what it meant to be a frog at the bottom of a well. The news quickly spread out. Someone came to the Phoenix clan to marry Morong Qingqing. It was as if a storm swept through the entire Yuhan continent. All of a sudden, countless geniuses gathered. When the Heavenly Rock Race's people heard this, their faces turned even colder. Flawless 100 Miles's eyes were filled with killing intent. He had already received news about the Phoenix clan. There would be a gathering half a month later, and he would attend it personally. Lin Xian, right? No matter who you are, you will die in half a month. The Phoenix clan was also greatly surprised by the changes in the outside world. They really wanted to see who this Lin Xian was to be able to make Morong Qingqing so willing. A few women came to the main hall where Lin Xian lived. These people looked noble, and their eyes were filled with arrogance. They raised their chins and didn't put anything in their eyes. After that woman Morong Qingqing came, she took a lot of our resources. She has the Grand Elder behind her, so we can't touch her. However, we have to take a good look at this little man of hers. The leader of the women said coldly. The others laughed when they heard this. Sister Yi, don't worry. We know what to do. The few of them sneered. They said to the guards, "Open the door." The guards opened the door of the main hall, and the group of people walked in. The main hall was very empty. There was no one in sight. The geniuses who came to the Phoenix clan frowned. There was no one. Could it be that the kid had already left? Humph, what a coward. I think he must have run away after hearing the news. Otherwise, how could he dare to compete with Flawless 100 Miles? Moreover, he still had to accept the challenge of the world. It seemed that Morong Qingqing was really blind this time. Cold laughter rang out one after another. However, at this moment a voice came from the void. Take back what you said just now or bear the consequences. Who's that? The geniuses of the Phoenix clan suddenly turned around. They saw a figure standing behind them. He was wearing a black robe and had a cold expression. In particular, his eyes were shining with an extremely cold light. Damn kid, who are you? They shouted coldly. When did he appear? Why didn't they notice him at all? Lin Xian sneered. You came to find me, but you don't even know who I am? What? You're that Lin Xian. Those people were surprised. They looked carefully. Yi, who was walking at the front, sized up Lin Xian and sneered. He's handsome, but what's the use? You'll turn into a pile of bones in half a month. She sneered. The others also laughed smugly. They could tell that the other party didn't have any terrifying information or bloodline. He wasn't even the great sage. How could he challenge the world? Lin Xian said coldly. I said, take back what you said just now and apologize. Can't you hear me? Yi sneered. Who do you think you are? How dare you? Before she could finish speaking, she was slapped across the face, and her entire body flew out. His handsome face was also in tatters. She roared crazily. How dare you hit me? I'm going to kill you. She rushed over angrily. At this moment, Lin Xian disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already behind her. A pair of hands grabbed her neck. Believe it or not, I can send you to hell in a second. Yi was so scared that her body turned cold. She realized that she couldn't escape at all. It was too terrifying. Those hands were like the palms of a god that could control her life. The geniuses of the Phoenix clan around were even more terrified. They were aware of Sister Yi's strength. She was very powerful, but she was suppressed in an instant. How terrifying was this Lin Xian? Could it be that he really had heaven-defying combat power? Another person said, I'm warning you, don't do anything. This is the territory of the Phoenix clan. If you hurt Yi, you're dead meat. Is that so? Are you threatening me? Lin Xian exerted force in his palm. Yi screamed crazily. No, don't do anything to me. Mr. Lin, I was wrong. I apologize to you. I take back what I said just now. I shouldn't have said that to you, and I shouldn't have said that to Sister Qingcheng. I won't do it again. She apologized. At the same time, she shouted angrily. What are you guys waiting for? Hurry up and apologize to me. The people around didn't dare to resist and apologized one after another. Her attitude was completely different from before. Chapter 5099. Lin Xian waved his hand and said coldly, Scram, don't let me see you again. Yi was thrown out. She turned around and roared crazily. Men, suppress him for me. She had already thought about it. As soon as she came out, she would order the experts to completely suppress him. The guards outside rushed in when they heard this. Princess Yi, what's the matter? Yi said. He injured me and suppressed him. I want to kill him. The Phoenix guards were stunned. Princess Yi, please don't make things difficult for us. You're not injured. How is that possible? Yi was shocked. Her companions also said, Are you blind? You didn't see Sister Yi's face. Before they finished speaking, they were also stunned. At this moment, Yi didn't look injured at all. The saint blood in the void also disappeared. How is that possible? Could it be that this kid secretly got rid of it? They were shocked. The Phoenix guards carefully checked and then said, Princess Yi, we didn't find any traces of fighting. After saying that, they retreated and left. Yi shouted angrily, Impossible. Could it be that I was dreaming just now? Lin Xian sneered. A trace of cold light appeared in his eyes, and an extremely terrifying soul force pressed down. Yi and the others' scalps went numb. They instantly understood. Illusion. Just now they were in an illusion. When did it happen? Perhaps they had been caught in an illusion the moment they entered the hall. And they didn't know. This meant that when they were in the illusion, the other party had 10,000 chances to destroy their souls. Thinking of this, they broke out in cold sweat. Let's go. These people didn't dare to stay here any longer. They turned around and left. At the same time, they swore that they would never return to this place in their lives, let alone provoke the other party. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. The Phoenix clan also became extremely lively. The Phoenix clan's patriarch personally appeared. It was a woman as high as a queen. She sat in the hall in the clouds. Beside her sat a man with an extraordinary appearance. A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. He was the Heavenly Rock clan's patriarch. At this moment he also said, It seems that there are many geniuses here. The Phoenix clan leader nodded. Once the news spread out, all the geniuses of the Yuheng continent would rush here. Unless there were special matters that prevented them from coming, The others should be arriving soon. However, no matter how many of them came over, they probably wouldn't be able to match up to flawless 100 miles. The moment these words were spoken, the Heavenly Rock Race leader started laughing loudly. Phoenix Race leader, you think too highly of Wuxia. There was still a long way to go before he became flawless. However, the Phoenix clan leader shook her head. I have high hopes for his future. If Jiao was not the empress and had not yet become a great emperor, we would not have dared to let her get married. Otherwise, I would have betrothed Jiao to Wuxia. However, this Morong Qingqing was not bad either. She had the bloodline of the rainbow phoenix and a beautiful face. More importantly, flawless like Qingqing. Therefore, if the two of them could get married, it would be the best thing for our two families. The Heavenly Rock Race's race head nodded. If it really works, I'll get Wuxia to block a martial emperor. He should be able to do it. The two of them discussed here. It seemed that they did not treat Lin Xian's existence as a threat at all. Lin Xian was no longer restricted. He finally saw Morong Qingqing again. The two of them were still guarding the Phoenix race, attracting a lot of attention. Early in the morning, news came that the Phoenix race's genius wanted to hold a banquet to meet Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "Is there a Phoenix race empress?" Morong Qingqing said, "You're talking about Feng Jiao, right? She's in seclusion and usually won't come out." Lin Xian said, "Then I have no reason to go. Your husband is someone who will be conferred the title of king. The people I interact with are people like the Dragon Prince and the Kuanpeng Sun. Other people really don't have the qualifications to ask me to do anything." Morong Qingqing laughed after hearing his words. She rolled her eyes at him and thought, "You." Although she seemed to be complaining, her eyes were filled with happiness. Lin Xian smiled and said, "All right, I'll give you face and make a trip there." In the evening, Lin Xian still attended the banquet. He realized that there were quite a lot of people, not only the Phoenix race's geniuses. The geniuses of the other clans and sects had also come. This was because they really wanted to know who this Lin Xian was. One had to know that Morong Qingqing did not even look at Bailey Wuxia before. In the hall in front, Yi and the others were also sitting there. But at this moment, it was silent. The surrounding people were puzzled. Yi and Qingqing's relationship was not good before. Now that they knew about this, they would at least mock and ridicule. They might even come out to slap Yi in the face. But they did not. Yi and the others became very quiet, which made them puzzled. Could it be that these people still had some big tricks up their sleeves? After Morong Qingqing and Lin Xian arrived, Qingqing introduced the geniuses of the Phoenix race to Lin Xian. When she came before Yi, Qingqing said, "This is Sister Yi." She explained expressionlessly. Lin Xian smiled. "Oh, Sister Yi?" At this moment, Yi raised her head. When she saw Lin Xian's gaze, she was so frightened that her body trembled. She lowered her head and said, "I'm feeling a little uncomfortable, so I'll leave first." After saying that, she ran away like a rabbit. It was not only her. The few people around her also found excuses to leave. This surprised everyone. Morong Qingqing was puzzled as well. It seemed that the other party was afraid of something. She looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said through voice transmission, "When you weren't around, they came to find trouble with me. After being taught a lesson by me, they were probably scared." Morong Qingqing's expression was strange. No wonder. But it was good. This Yi had indeed often found trouble with her. She probably would not dare to do so in the future. Apart from that, there were also geniuses from the Thunder Clan and the Heavenly Rock Clan. Lin Xian looked at those people and nodded slightly as a greeting. This made the faces of the people from the two clans turn ugly. The other party was too arrogant. At this moment, someone said coldly, "Since young Master Lin could win the heart of the fatally beautiful fairy, he must have something extraordinary. Why don't you show it to us?" "That's right. I've just refined a treasure saber recently. Why don't I spar with young Master Lin?" Voices sounded one after another. These people were all staring at Lin Xian. It seemed that they wanted to make a move today. On the Phoenix clan's side, apart from Yi, there were many people who had conflicts with Morong Qingqing. After all, Morong Qingqing had joined the Phoenix clan halfway, and because of her god's bloodline, she took up a large portion of the resources. This caused the resources of the Phoenix clan's geniuses to decrease significantly. How could these geniuses be willing to accept this? Therefore, they naturally hated Morong Qingcheng. Chapter 5100. Lin Xian looked at them and said coldly, I advise you not to do this. Why? Are you afraid? The Phoenix race snorted. Lin Xian sneered. I'm afraid you'll go to hell. The surrounding people exclaimed. This brat is too arrogant. The Phoenix race was enraged. Brat, do you know what you're saying? Do you know where you are? Our great Emperor clan isn't something you can challenge. However, Lin Xian sat down beside Morong Qingcheng. Seeing this, the Heavenly Rock race was enraged. Brat, don't you understand? Try and see if my treasured blade is sharp. Similarly, experts from the Thunder clan also walked out. Even the Phoenix race sent out their experts. 3 experts walked out and stared at Lin Xian. Their eyes emitted a terrifying radiance. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they shook their heads and sighed. They felt that Lin Xian was dead meat. Are you sure you want to fight? Since that's the case, I'll do as you wish. Lin Xian stood up. He first looked at the man from the Thunder clan. His eyes emitted a terrifying radiance. The man's soul screamed as if it was being torn apart. Blood flowed out of his 7 orifices as he knelt on the ground. What's going on? The surrounding people were stunned. It's an eye technique. Someone shouted. The Thunder clan was shocked. Damn it. Does this brat really dare to fight? One had to know that this was the Phoenix race. Where did he get his courage from? Damn brat, how dare you injure my soul? The expert from the Thunder clan shouted angrily. He turned into a bolt of lightning and charged over. However, he was sent flying by Lin Xian's sword. His body was split into 2. Lin Xian said coldly, Do you think an ant like you has the right to fight with me? Then Lin Xian turned around and looked at the Heavenly Rock race. His eyes emitted a terrifying radiance. The surrounding people were shocked. This brat is too strong. Morong Qingcheng shook her head and sighed. Lin Xian had already been crowned king. How could these people challenge him? The people of the Tianpeng race also had gloomy expressions. Xian said, Didn't you want to test the sharpness of the sword? Make your move. After saying that, he punched out. The 6 Paths fist was indomitable. The man from the Tianpeng race shouted angrily. With a wave of his hand, a battle saber appeared and slashed forward. He wanted to shatter his opponent's fist. Clang. An earth-shattering sound rang out. This kid is too arrogant. That battle blade is clearly an extremely terrifying sacred artifact. My guess is that his fist will be split in half. That's for sure. He's probably a soul expert, and he's good at catching people off guard. However, it would be an idiot to try to compete with his physique. These people sneered. However, they were soon stunned. The treasured saber in front of him was blasted into 2 halves, while Lin Xian's fist was unscathed. Impossible? The experts of the Tianpeng race roared in fear. Especially the expert who attacked, he was even more dumbfounded. This battle saber was meticulously refined by him, and it was extremely terrifying. Even the great sage wouldn't be able to shatter it. But now it was broken by a single punch from the other party. How terrifying was his strength? Lin Xian said coldly. It seems that your battle saber isn't that great. I wonder how strong you are. As he spoke, the 6 Paths fist struck out again. The people of the Tianpeng race were terrified. That person shouted angrily. Tianpeng seal. He formed a seal with his palms, forming a huge seal that pressed down. It collided with the 6 Paths fist. As if struck by lightning, he flew backward, and cracks appeared on his body. With a boom, he turned into a bloody mist. His soul wanted to escape, but it was slapped to the ground by Lin Xian. Lin Xian stepped on the other party's soul with 1 foot and said coldly, Ant, who gave you the courage to challenge me? That person cried out miserably. The people of the Tianpeng race roared crazily. Damn brat, you dare? Lin Xian snorted and crushed the body that the other party had just reformed. He said, Why wouldn't I dare? The people of the Phoenix race were furious. The eyes of the man from the Phoenix race were filled with cold killing intent. He said coldly, Stop immediately and apologize. Lin Xian looked at him and said coldly, Who do you think you are? How dare you order me around? Previously, I didn't attack you because I gave Qing face. Now if you attack me, I can guarantee that you will end up like them. You. That man was so angry that his body trembled. The people of the Phoenix race were also gnashing their teeth. However, they were really frightened by Lin Xian, and no one attacked for a while. On the other hand, the people of the Tianpeng race were angry. They all looked at Flawless Bailey. Flawless Bailey's face was gloomy, but he had no intention of attacking. His opponent was only the crown prince, and this person in front of him was not qualified. Old servant, save me. The injured prodigy roared crazily. An old man walked out of the void and slapped toward Lin Xian. You dare to attack my young master? Go to hell. His palm turned into a sharp claw that tore heaven and earth apart. Therefore, this claw could even tear apart a dragon, let alone a human. Countless people were shocked. Was an expert of the older generation going to attack? Lin Xian snorted coldly. He roared and slashed out with his sword. It turned into the shadow of a dragon and rushed forward. Tianpeng slaying dragon, let's see if you have the ability to do so. This sword split heaven and earth, and the old man's sharp claw was shattered. He was also split in half. Sacred blood floated between heaven and earth. The surrounding people were shocked. What a terrifying sword energy. Why did this guy have the aura of the Tao of Dragons? Could it be that he was a member of the dragons? Even the people of the Phoenix race were stunned. If Lin Xian was a member of the dragons, then the situation was different. The people of the Heavenly Rock race had ugly expressions. They had a grudge with the dragons. The Heavenly Rock race was only SOSO. None of them could fight. As soon as these words were spoken, the people of the Heavenly Rock race could not hold it in anymore. Even Bailey Wux's eyes burst out with a cold light. He stood up. At this moment, the elders of the Phoenix race walked over. The battle here naturally alarmed them. After they came over, they said, everyone think about tomorrow. Today is not the time. Lin Xian shrugged. He did not care when the battle would start. Bailey Wux stared at Lin Xian for a long time before retracting his gaze. I'll let you live for another day. This banquet ended early. When Lin Xian left, the surrounding people were terrified. No one dared to underestimate him anymore. Although it was just a simple exchange, the strength Lin Xian displayed showed that he was a top-notch expert. They also knew that Morong Qingqing would not choose an ant for no reason. Yi and the others were shocked. Fortunately, they had left early. Otherwise, they would have been unlucky as well. The people of the Phoenix race were shocked. Many people studied that battle and discovered that Lin Xian had a powerful soul, a terrifying physique, terrifying strength, and sharp sword energy. Chapter 5101. However, some people shook their heads and sneered because they knew that the person who could compete with Lin Xian was even more extraordinary. That was Bailey Wux. He was the #1 genius of the Heavenly Rock race. In fact, other than Bailey Wux, there were a few other top geniuses who were chasing after Morong Qingqing. Perhaps they would all appear tomorrow. At that time, it would be a true battle between dragons and tigers. Whether Lin Xian could fight against them was still unknown. On the other side, Morong Qingqing also said, you have to be careful of Bailey Wux tomorrow. He does have the battle strength of an emperor. Moreover, the Heavenly Rock race's battle strength was also very strong. Lin Xian nodded after hearing that. Morong Qingqing thought about it and said that other than him, there might be a few more people who would come. Those people were also very strong. Some of them could even use Emperor divine powers. Lin Xian smiled. Qingqing, you're still so charming. Morong Qingqing blushed and leaned against Lin Xian. No matter how strong they are, they're just a finger of yours. Last night, the news spread out and countless people were shocked. The younger generation and even the older generation were discussing it. Could it be that another young emperor had risen? Someone exclaimed. Someone sneered. Impossible, he's not qualified. Everyone was excited, waiting for the sky to brighten so that they could watch the battle between dragons and tigers. When the leader of the Phoenix race heard the news, he narrowed his eyes. Oh, not a useless person, but a top genius? That was interesting. However, he still couldn't be compared to Bailey Wux. He still didn't take Lin Xian seriously. The people of the Thunder race were furious. Their genius had been severely injured. However, they didn't do anything. Instead, they placed their hopes on the Heavenly Rock race. The people of the Heavenly Rock race roared. This time, they had lost a lot of face. They were all waiting. Tomorrow, Wuxia would make his move. The next day, when the sun rose, the banquet finally began. Everyone came in excitedly and presented their gifts. Those who could come were all people with extraordinary statuses. They were either from the clan of the ancients, great sects, or peerless experts. When Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing appeared, they attracted countless gazes. They looked at each other with red eyes, full of envy. The people of the Phoenix race had a cold expression. The leader of the Phoenix race had also come. She sat high in the sky and looked down like a queen. Lin Xian felt a huge pressure, but he wasn't afraid. Driving the sword qi within his body, Lin Xian stepped forward calmly. Lin Xian paid his respects to the Phoenix clan master and the various seniors. He bowed without any emotion. "You're Lin Xian?" The Phoenix clan leader said coldly as a terrifying bloodline aura burst forth. At this moment, the entire world froze, and everyone felt their scalps go numb. They felt their bodies tremble. It was as if Lin Xian could kill them with a glance. The void around Lin Xian continued to shatter. However, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up as he ignored the terrifying power. "He's right. It's me." The leader of the Phoenix race was shocked. Even a top genius wouldn't be able to withstand the pressure that she had just displayed. She thought that Lin Xian might kneel down directly. That way, she could give him a warning. However, she realized that Lin Xian wasn't affected at all. She was surprised. Could it be that this young man has some treasure? That's why he could withstand her pressure. On the other side, the leader of the Heavenly Rock race had a cold expression. However, he didn't say anything. Instead, he secretly gave a look. The people of the Heavenly Rock race moved quickly. Not long after, a group of people came with murderous intent. The leader was a middle-aged man. Beside him was a pale-faced young man. He was the previous owner of the saber. He was beaten up by Lin Xian and was seriously injured. When he saw Lin Xian, his body trembled. However, a fierce murderous intent appeared in his eyes. With his father here, he was going to take revenge this time. After these people came, the middle-aged man in front of them shouted. Ba shouted coldly, "You're the one who attacked and injured my son. Who are you? How dare you question me?" Lin Xian's cold shout was like a clap of thunder. It gave Ba a fright. The surrounding people were also shocked. This guy is so domineering. Ba was stunned. When he came back to his senses, he shouted coldly, "Why can't I question you? Show me your identity and background." Lin Xian said, "I'm Qingqing's husband. Qingqing is a member of the Phoenix race. I'm here to return home. What's with your attitude? Is this how you treat your master?" When the people of the Phoenix race heard this, they were so angry that their noses became crooked. "Despicable brat, when did we admit it?" Lin Xian looked at Ba and said coldly, "Your son fought me with a saber. I fought him with my bare hands. He wasn't strong enough and was seriously injured. How dare you come here? Is the Heavenly Rock race also despicable? If that's the case, then it's really disappointing. Brat, it's useless to say more. Take my palm. If you don't die, then this matter will be settled." Ba snorted coldly. A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. The surrounding people's faces changed. This Ba was an expert of the generation. It was indeed shameless to bully the younger generation. However, no one said anything. Many people even wanted to see Lin Xian make a fool of himself. Murong Qingqing's face changed. She wanted to say something, but she was stopped by the people of the Phoenix race. "Young Master Lin, I think this is fair. Why don't you take my palm?" "Don't worry, you won't lose your life here." The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. They knew that although Lin Xian wouldn't die, he might be seriously injured. He wouldn't be able to recover within 100 years. He might even be crippled. A palm to settle the grudge? Lin Xian shook his head. "Unless you take my palm too." "All right, no problem. We'll each take a palm, and then we won't pursue the matter." Ba's eyes emitted a terrifying killing intent. Although Lin Xian had injured his son and an old servant before, So what? My strength isn't comparable to anyone else's. Young man, make your move. Otherwise you won't have a chance. Bailey Ba stood there and laughed coldly. Lin Xian nodded. All right, I won't hold back then. He stretched out a finger and pointed forward, using the finger as a sword. Azura sword technique. This was an extremely terrifying Varch theurgy, the sword of slaughter. The sword light flashed, and everyone felt a chill in their souls. Bailey Ba's face changed. Oh no, my life is in danger. He knew that he had been careless. He didn't expect Lin Xian to have such an ultimate technique. He roared and attacked with all his might. The phantom of a heavenly rock appeared behind him. Its wings turned into heavenly blades and slashed forward. Go to hell. The sword chi and the blade light collided, directly shattering the sky. Puff. Blood splattered in the sky. The power in the sky disappeared. Chapter 5102. The surrounding people were stunned when they saw this scene. The one who fell was none other than Bailey Ba. Bailey Ba was an expert of the current generation, a great sage. His strength was extremely terrifying. However, he was killed by a single sword strike. More importantly, the person who killed him was a sage king, a young man. How inconceivable was this? The Tianpeng race came back to their senses and roared crazily. How dare you kill him? Do you want to die? Kid, die. I'm going to tear you into pieces. These people's eyes were bloodshot. Lin Xian retracted his sword chi and sneered. How could they forget so quickly? Previously, they had agreed to settle their grudges with one move each. He wasn't as strong as Bailey Ba, so he deserved to be killed. Are you trying to bully me? If you're not convinced, then go ahead. Lin Xian waved his hand, not afraid of the Tianpeng race at all. The Tianpeng race was so angry that they were trembling. The surrounding people were discussing. Yes, they didn't expect the Tianpeng race to kick an iron plate this time. This kid's cultivation wasn't high, but his strength was terrifying. He was definitely a top genius who could fight above his level. Countless voices of discussion rang out. The Tianpeng race's faces were cold. They were too careless this time. If they attacked again, they would be used against them and become the target of ridicule. However, they were unwilling to let this kid go. Fortunately, when they were hesitating, another roar came from afar. Who dares to hurt my grandson? Come and die. This voice was filled with endless rage. Thunderclouds gathered in the sky. The Lei Dong race's people came. Many people were surprised and opened up a path for them. The Lei Dong race's expert strode over. Grandfather, it's him. It's this kid who injured me. A young man with injuries pointed at Lin Xian and said quickly. Beside him was an old man with a head of white hair. However, his figure was tall and straight, and his chi and blood surged into the sky. He was one of the older generation experts of the Lei Dong clan. At this moment, he stared at Lin Xian with lightning in his eyes. Young man, how dare you injure my grandson? How do you want to die? Lin Xian glanced at him and sneered. Is your grandson from the younger generation? The elder of the Lei Dong clan snorted. Nonsense, are you blind? Can't you see? Lin Xian sneered. Since he was from the younger generation, then they would fight. He would lose because his skills were inferior. What? You old thing. Are you trying to take advantage of your seniority to attack me? So this was the bearing of the Lei Dong clan. How disappointing. What qualifications does a family like yours have to stand at the peak? Get down here. Lin Xian's voice rang out, and many people were in an uproar. Indeed, this matter shouldn't have been left to the older generation experts. The matters of the younger generation should be settled by themselves. However, both the Skyrock clan and the Thunder Movement clan were very powerful. The others didn't dare to say anything. The old man's face turned cold. What a sharp-tongued brat. But do you think that you can live like this? I don't care about the others, but this old man is famous for being protective. I bullied you today. What can you do to me? Sigh. Some people in the crowd sighed. Indeed, this old man wasn't ordinary. He was famous for being protective. Moreover, the other party was very powerful. He had a nickname, Thunderclap Hands. His palm could easily catch thunder. At the same time, his palm struck out as if 10,000 lightning bolts were descending. This thunderclap hands could sweep through everything. It was an extremely powerful technique. The other party was famous for his palms. Those who went against him would end up in a miserable state. Now that the other party didn't even care about his reputation and was targeting a young man, this brat was probably in danger. The toad and the dark red divine dragon were speechless. They had never seen such a shameless person. Today was an eye-opener. Lin Xian snorted. Why? You want to stand up for your grandson? Go ahead and attack. Heh. Don't worry, I won't let you die so easily. I'll cripple you and hand you over to my grandson for him to torture you for the rest of your life. The thunderclap hands walked out, emitting a terrifying aura. The surrounding people were worried. Although Lin Xian was strong, the thunderclap hands were even more frightening. Seeing that the battle was about to erupt, a loud voice came from afar, welcoming young master Shi Yuanfeng. The crowd was in an uproar. Shi Yuanfeng, this name was familiar to them. This was because he was an extremely terrifying genius. He had a strong physique and unparalleled combat strength. He had once defeated 30 top experts in a single day. He had made a name for himself. There were rumors in the world that there were no more than 5 people in the younger generation who could compete with Shi Yuanfeng in terms of strength. Now he was here too? Many people's eyes were shining. They knew that Shi Yuanfeng was also pursuing Murong Qingcheng. Heaven and earth trembled. Even the people of the Thunder Clan looked serious. They were known for their violent strength. However, when they felt this power, their blood boiled. One could imagine how terrifying this person was. In the distance, there was a man who was like a god of war. He lowered his head and stared at Lin Xian. You're Qingcheng's man? A cold voice sounded. The surrounding space shattered continuously. At this moment, the surrounding people felt an immense pressure. The dark red divine dragon, Toad, and the others' faces changed. This person was much stronger than those who came before. Murong Qingcheng frowned as well. She said coldly, Shi Yuanfeng, I've already told you everything. Why are you still here? Hurry up and leave. Shi Yuanfeng looked at Murong Qingcheng and said, Qingcheng, I won't give up. You'll be mine in the end. Even if Bailey What catches up with you, I'll fight him. Not to mention the fact that he was now an ant. The thunderclap hands looked at this scene and sneered. It seemed that he wouldn't make a move. Shi Yuanfeng wouldn't be able to escape death. The Skyrock clan's side also had a sinister look. At this moment, everyone knew that Lin Xian was dead meat. Who do you think you are? How dare you stand on top of my head? Get down here and talk. Lin Xian didn't even look at the other party and shouted coldly. The people around him went crazy. Did this guy know who he was facing? That was Shi Yuanfeng, the god of war with infinite strength. How dare he scold Shi Yuanfeng? It's over. Their last bit of hope disappeared. In their opinion, if Lin Xian begged for mercy and had a better attitude, he might be able to keep his life. But now, it would be hard for him to walk out of here alive. How dare you? Kid, do you know who young Master Shi is? Someone shouted. The people of the Thunder Clan also said coldly, You're courting death. Why aren't you kowtowing and apologizing? Even the people of the Skyrock clan snorted coldly. Shi Yuanfeng is someone who can compete with the #1 genius of our clan. Do you think you can take it? Little brat. Brat, I'll see how you die this time. Chapter 5103. Some people from the Phoenix race even sneered. The man that Qingcheng found was really arrogant. I think he doesn't know his place. Does he think that he can act recklessly just because he's a genius? There were differences between geniuses. A top-notch genius could kill him instantly. Just wait, I'll see how he dies. Murong Qingcheng didn't say anything. She knew Lin Xian's strength and wasn't afraid of Shi Yuanfeng at all. Plus, she didn't want to care about Shi Yuanfeng's arrogance. Let Brother Xian do it. At that time, these people would know who was the laughable frog at the bottom of the well. Shi Yuanfeng descended from the sky. He said, Kid, I know that you're a genius from somewhere and you're standing at the peak. But it's a pity that your hometown is too small. I can turn your world into nothingness with one hand. You don't know the strength of a true genius on this continent. Today I'll show you. But after you see it, you'll go to hell. As a top-notch genius, Shi Yuanfeng didn't put Shi Yuanfeng in his eyes. Lin Xian laughed coldly. You think too highly of yourself. Don't talk about being a top-notch genius. Even if the princes and princesses were standing in front of me, they wouldn't be able to do anything to me. You? Lin Xian shook his head, his eyes filled with disdain. The surrounding people went crazy. Was there something wrong with this kid? Did water enter his brain? He actually dared to look down on Shi Yuanfeng. He wanted to be on par with the princes and princesses? Where did his confidence come from? Thunderclap Hand snorted. Stupid thing. Young Master Shi's strength has surpassed mine. You can't even beat me and you want to fight young Master Shi? Don't you know how to write the word death? The people from the Thunder Race sneered. Shi Yuanfeng was able to defeat them previously. The Thunder Race's genius was indeed extraordinary. But so what? Shi Yuanfeng was too powerful. Even Thunderclap Hand wasn't a match for him, let alone this kid. I'm not a match for you? Lin Xian sneered. Come on, old man, I'll kill you in one move. Lin Xian's body emitted a domineering aura. Since the other party wanted to die, he would fulfill his wish. You? Thunderclap was furious. He was a powerhouse of the older generation who had been famous for a long time. When had he ever been looked down upon by ants? He stared at Shi Yuanfeng as he spoke. Sir Shi, can you allow me to deal with this person? Don't worry, I won't kill him. I will cripple him and hand him over to young Master Shi. Shi Yuanfeng nodded. Then hurry up, I don't have much patience. Thunderclap Hand smiled. Don't worry, one move is enough to settle this. He walked forward. Terrifying lightning crackled around his hands. He was like the god of thunder. Kid, if you have any last words, just leave them. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Another flash of sword chi appeared in his hand, radiating a biting cold aura. The Thunderclap Hand sneered. He reached out with both palms and shattered the void. They blocked Lin Xian's path of retreat. He would not give the other party a chance to escape. Go to hell. Thunder burst from his palm. This power was enough to kill 5 great sage beings. This was the power of a thunderbolt. It's over. The people of the Thunder clan sneered. The people of the Heavenly Rock clan and the Phoenix clan were expressionless. The others shook their heads and sighed. However, at this moment, another voice came from the sky. It's really over. Go to hell. How is this possible? The Thunderclap Hand's pupils constricted. The voice came from behind him. Is it that kid? He turned around abruptly and saw a sword piercing towards him. No. He was crazy. How did the other party dodge? Why didn't he know anything? Also, what was with this sword? Why was it so terrifying? At this moment he was stunned. He could only see this sword. Everything between heaven and earth disappeared. What kind of sword was this? It was terrifying and fatal. It was as if a great emperor had struck out with a fatal blow. When he came to his senses, the sword light that filled the sky had already disappeared. He realized that his body and soul had been split into 2. Impossible. He couldn't believe it even when he was about to die. He was actually killed by the other party in an instant. Azura sword technique. The third sword. Lin Xian retracted the sword chi. He said coldly, as expected of an old man. He couldn't even block one of my attacks. What a piece of trash. At this moment, heaven and earth fell silent. The people of the Thunder clan were stunned. Their elder, the Thunderclap Hand, was dead. He was killed in an instant. How is this possible? The people who were watching in the surroundings couldn't believe it. This scene was very familiar. This was because the middle-aged man of the Heavenly Rock clan had died in the same manner. However, this time, the middle-aged man of the Thunderclap Hand was much stronger. However, he was still killed in an instant. After a long while, countless people exclaimed in surprise. Is this for real? This kid killed the Thunderclap Hand in an instant. Did you see that sword strike just now? What kind of sword was that? Exclamations could be heard everywhere. Everyone was roaring crazily. Did he succeed again? The people of the Heavenly Rock clan couldn't believe it. The people of the Phoenix clan were also shocked. Some of the people who were watching the show with a cold smile turned gloomy at this moment. Even Shi Yuanfeng frowned. The sword just now made him feel as if he was facing a great enemy. Damn it, this kid isn't an ordinary person. No wonder he was able to win the heart of Morong Qingcheng. However, he wasn't convinced. He wanted to suppress Lin Fan personally. His eyes were filled with strong fighting spirit. However, the people of the Thunder Clan were roaring crazily. They were all kneeling on the ground. They couldn't accept the death of the Thunderclap Hand. These people stared at Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian's gaze scared them so much that they kept retreating. They were just a bunch of ants. Lin Xian couldn't be bothered with them. He turned his head and looked at Shi Yuanfeng. You said that I came from a small place and looked down on me. You even said that you wanted me to know what a real genius is? Alright, I hope you won't disappoint me. Shi Yuanfeng's expression was cold. This time he didn't dare to be careless. He said coldly, Kid, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect you to hide so well. What's your name? My fist doesn't kill nameless people. My name is Lin Xian. Lin Xian? Shi Yuanfeng frowned. He seemed to have heard of this name before, but he couldn't recall it. Humph, I haven't heard of it before. However, you're indeed worthy of my attention. The others were also confused. Bailey Wuck and the people of the Phoenix clan also recalled that they seemed to have heard of this name before. However, they really couldn't recall it at that moment. Take out your weapon. You can't break my defense with just a ray of sword chi. Shi Yuanfeng said coldly. You'd better take care of yourself. I hope you can block 3 of my moves. Otherwise, I'll be disappointed. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. You're courting death. Shi Yuanfeng was furious. He stomped his foot and rushed over like a mountain. Wherever he passed, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. In an instant he was in front of Lin Xian. Chapter 5104. Under this punch, that kid would definitely die. Some people shook their heads. They felt that Lin Xian was too careless. However, some people said that it might not be so. Don't forget the Thunderclap Hand from before. That was a sealed space and that kid could still escape. His speed was too fast. It was almost impossible to kill him instantly. Indeed, after the previous 2 battles, everyone did not think that Lin Xian was a weakling. They all knew that the other party was an expert, so at this moment, they all opened their eyes wide and stared at the other party. They wanted to see what kind of movement technique the other party used to be able to dodge this punch. But in an instant, they exclaimed and did not dodge. They realized that Lin Xian stood there motionless and had no intention of dodging at all. What was going on? Why didn't he dodge? Was he disdainful of dodging? Impossible. No one could compete with Shi Yuanfeng in terms of physique and strength. There was a possibility that the other party could not dodge at all. In the face of such a powerful fist, all dodging was futile. It seemed that this kid still could not be compared to Shi Yuanfeng. Shi Yuanfeng was also incomparably disappointed. Was he not even dodging? Had he already given up? He originally thought that the other party was a competitor who could exchange more than 10 moves with him. Now, it seemed that he was really disappointed. An ant was indeed an ant. He could not give him any hope. Since that was the case, then let's settle it. His fist became even more dazzling. Looking at the fist that was rushing towards him, Lin Xian looked calm. He could not dodge. What kind of joke was this? Shadowless Heaven's neck could dodge this punch, but he did not need to dodge at all. Competing with him in terms of physique? When had he ever been afraid? Thinking of this, he stretched out a fist and also blasted forward. Looking at this scene, everyone was dumbfounded. No way could it be that he wanted to compete with Shi Yuanfeng in terms of strength and physique? What kind of joke was this? Wasn't this kid an expert in the sword Dao? He should be good at killing with one move and nimbly dodging. Now that he was actually fighting force with force, this was an incomparable disadvantage for a swordsman. He actually used his own disadvantage to compete with the other party's advantage. This kid was really unwise. Boom boom. Earth-shattering sounds were heard. Everyone thought that Lin Xian would be blasted into a bloody mist. However, they discovered that Shi Yuanfeng's fist had been blocked by another pair of fists. Did this brat do it? Everyone went crazy. Shi Yuanfeng's eyes narrowed. How tyrannical. He felt as though his fist had landed on an ancient mountain. That terrifying power caused his arm to tremble. His opponent actually possessed such strength and physique? While he was in a daze, Lin Xian smiled. Your physique is very strong, but that's all there is to it. His fist suddenly turned into a palm and grabbed Shi Yuanfeng's wrist. Then it smashed into the ground. With a boom, the ground trembled and a deep abyss appeared. Shi Yuanfeng was dizzy from the impact. He shouted angrily and tried to stand up. But what greeted him was a foot. He kicked him in the face. With a bang, he was sent flying and crashed into a pavilion in the distance. There was even a terrifying black hole behind him. You're courting death. After being kicked in the face, Shi Yuanfeng was completely enraged. Countless terrifying runes appeared on his body as he charged forward like a killing god. Sky-rushing divine fist. Shi Yuanfeng's fists opened and closed. At this moment he did not hold back at all. However, he was being suppressed by Lin Xian. In the contest of physique, Lin Xian was equally bold, and his fists were unstoppable. Shi Yuanfeng kept retreating. In the end there was a boom. One of Shi Yuanfeng's arms was smashed, and he was sent flying while vomiting blood. Shi Yuanfeng was defeated. Was he injured? Countless people exclaimed. The people of the Thunder clan were terrified. The people of the Skyrock clan were dumbfounded. Even the members of the Phoenix clan were stunned. They had thought of countless possibilities, but they had never thought that it would be the situation in front of them. Shi Yuanfeng stood up, his body trembling. It was not that he did not want to fight. It was that the qi and blood in his body had long been shaken, and he could not fight at all. He stared at his opponent. Who are you? Who are you? On the other side, Flawless 100 Miles of the Sky Rock clan stared at Lin Xian with a terrifying light in his eyes. The powerhouses of the Phoenix clan were also frowning. Everyone was stunned. The other party had a great background. Lin Xian said, I've said it before, my name is Lin Xian. Impossible, I have never heard of this name. You are so strong, you can't be a nobody. Tell me your true identity. Shi Yuanfeng roared. He was like an injured beast. If he lost to a nameless person, his Tao heart would be destroyed. He could not accept it. Young Master Lin, tell me your background. The people of the Phoenix clan also said coldly. They did not believe that Lin Xian was a nobody. He could suppress Shi Yuanfeng in terms of strength and physique. How could he say that the other party was an ant? They would not believe it even if they were beaten to death. Lin Xian sighed. My name is really Lin Xian. Of course, you may not have heard of my name. However, you should have heard of one of my titles. What is it? Everyone asked one after another. Lin Wudi. Many people were puzzled. Lin Wudi. Oh my god. This kid is so arrogant to have such a title. Is he not afraid of being hunted down by the experts of the world? Those people discussed among themselves. However, some of them narrowed their eyes. For example, Flawless 100 Miles, Shi Yuanfeng, and the elders of the Phoenix clan. They were all stunned. You are Lin Wudi? This is impossible. The few elders of the Leidong clan also roared in horror. The others were puzzled. Is this person famous? Why have I not heard of him? Since when did such an expert appear in our Yuheng continent? They were puzzled. At that moment, a woman from the Phoenix clan exclaimed in surprise. You are Lin Wudi of Holy Distant Ancient City, the one who was crowned as a king? Holy Gulf Ancient City, King Coronation. No way. This time the people reacted. How could anyone who could come here be weak? They were all from the clan of the Ancients and the Great Sections. Although they were on the Yuheng continent, they were also paying attention to the situation on the other continents. In particular, they were the first to receive news from Primeval City. At this time, an elder of the Skyrock clan exclaimed, back in Holy Gulf Ancient City, 2 people were crowned as kings in a single day. One of them was the Dragon Prince. The other person was said to be Lin Wudi. Could it be that that person is you? The surrounding people went crazy. Some of them did not know what a king coronation meant. However, they completely understood now. The Dragon Prince and the others knew that King Coronation was the son of the dragons. How could he be weak if he could stand beside the Dragon Prince? No wonder he could easily kill the Thunderclap hand and suppress Shi Yuanfeng in terms of strength and physique. Chapter 5105. The strength that Lin Xian had displayed was shocking, especially after he found out about her identity. Countless people were in an uproar. He was the champion of the crown. On the phone, he was an existence that was on par with the emperor. Someone said, "Do you know? There was an even more shocking news. Back then, the Dragon Prince and this Lin Wudi, they became the champion of the crown together. Then they engaged in a great battle, and in the end the Dragon Prince was injured." What? Are you saying that the Dragon Prince is inferior to this Lin Wudi? Countless people were dumbfounded. What kind of battle record was this? In the younger generation, he was a supreme existence. The others could only look up. The people of the Phoenix race were also dumbfounded. Their faces were filled with shock. Was he Lin Wudi? Now they finally understood why Morong Qingqing would choose to be with him. It turned out that he was so powerful. Many people even began to feel jealous. Why could Morong Qingqing find such a husband? Their eyes were red. Do you still want to fight? Lin Xian looked at Shi Yuanfeng. Shi Yuanfeng sighed. I lost. He closed his eyes. However, he did not lose unjustly. His opponent was the champion of the crown, far superior to him. At this moment he felt extremely miserable. Lin Xian said, "Your physique is very strong, but you're still a little weaker than me. Also, you didn't lose unjustly. There aren't many people who can compete with you in terms of physique." These words made Shi Yuanfeng feel very uncomfortable. It was as if his master was praising him. The other party was still young, but he actually said such words. However, he could not refute it. Lin Xian looked at Flawless 100 Miles again. He said, "You've always been high and mighty. You want to suppress me with one hand? You want to pursue Morong Qingqing? Come, I'll give you a chance to challenge me today." Everyone was shocked. Was there going to be another great battle? They all looked at Flawless 100 Miles. This time, the people of the Heavenly Rock race had solemn expressions. They no longer had the relaxed and disdainful look from before. The person in front of them was Lin Wudi. He was the legendary champion of the championship. Would their number one genius be able to completely suppress the other party? To be honest, they really didn't have the confidence. Especially now that they had learned that the other party had even injured the Dragon Prince. This made them even more shocked. They were well aware of the Dragon Prince's strength and trump cards. Even his opponent had been defeated. Flawless 100 Miles was indeed very dangerous. Flawless 100 Miles also had a grave expression on his face. "Are you Lin Wudi? Originally, I wanted to go to Holy Abyss City to fight with you after the matters here were settled. Since you're here, I'll accompany you to the end." Flawless 100 Miles was still not afraid. He walked out, and with each step he took, the mountains shook and the earth shook. His eyes flashed like lightning as he looked at Lin Xian and said coldly, "I've defeated you. The title of champion of the championship is mine. Sure, if you have the ability." Lin Xian laughed. "If you lose, you will disappear from Qingqing's sight from now on." The two of them began to release extremely terrifying light, which began to bombard the surroundings. The heavens fell and the earth cracked. The bodies of the others all split apart. They quickly retreated. Their faces were filled with fear. These two people were too powerful. Even a trace of their aura was not something they could resist. The Phoenix clan leader was also surprised. He waved his hand and said, "Open the battlefield. The two of you will go to the battlefield to fight." "Okay." Flawless 100 Miles nodded. Lin Xian also rose into the air. As an emperor clan, the Phoenix clan had the immemorial battlefield. Such a place was enough to withstand all kinds of battles. The others also followed suit. The immemorial battlefield. Two figures descended, like two war gods confronting each other. The heavenly rock spread its wings. Flawless 100 Miles used his ultimate skill as soon as he came. A piercing cold light scattered. It pierced through the 9 heavens. Immediately after, thousands of light rays descended together. This was a peerless ability. Light of the demon god. Lin Xian waved his palm, releasing endless terrifying light rays that pierced through the 9 heavens. He charged forward. The two collided, producing an earth-shaking sound. Then he used Shadowless Heaven's net, and his speed reached the extreme. In an instant he was behind his opponent. Azura Sword Technique. He stabbed out with his sword. The 9 heavens and 10 earths were shaking. The people outside the battlefield felt their scalps go numb. It was this sword technique that killed 2 experts in an instant. They even guessed that it was very likely to be an emperor-level sword technique. Facing this sword technique, the people of the Heavenly Rock clan also became nervous. However, Flawless 100 Miles was still not afraid. A golden phantom appeared behind him. It was the phantom of a heavenly rock. It spread its wings and flew with terrifying power. Its wings swept across and blocked the sword light, producing an earth-shaking sound. In the next moment, Flawless 100 Miles turned his head, and an extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. The immemorial mirage behind him transformed into sharp claws and swiped at Lin Xian from all directions. Our Heavenly Rock clan can slay dragons, let alone kill you. Flawless 100 Miles's voice was sonorous as his sharp claws pierced through the void. He grabbed at Lin Xian's head. Lin Xian waved his hand and released the demon god seal. This palm strike had the power to shatter the heavens and the earth. It was really too terrifying. The people outside were terrified. If they faced this palm strike, they would probably be instantly turned into a bloody mist. Another shocking strike. The sharp claws were shattered. The demon god pressed forward and attacked the Heavenly Rock Phantom. Flawless 100 Miles's expression changed. He flapped his wings and used his extreme speed to dodge instantly. He arrived in the distance. His expression was gloomy. In the collision, he was actually at a disadvantage. Impossible. The people of the Heavenly Rock clan gritted their teeth and roared. They really couldn't believe it. Could it be that Flawless 100 Miles was going to be defeated? If that was the case, they probably couldn't accept it. Lin Xian said, "If you have any ultimate moves, use them. Otherwise, you won't be my match at all. What you use should be an emperor's divine ability. I didn't expect you to have such an encounter. No wonder you can compete with the crown prince. But don't underestimate me. Although I don't have an emperor's divine ability, I have an extremely powerful bloodline. Moreover, my bloodline is an ancestral bloodline. Now, I'll let you see the power of my bloodline." Flawless 100 Miles's eyes emitted an extremely terrifying light. Then endless blood-colored talismans appeared around him, and an extremely powerful force surged out. The phantom behind him became extremely terrifying. It actually had flesh and blood on its face. Countless people saw this scene. They were terrified. Heavens, what is Flawless 100 Miles trying to do? Is he trying to summon an ancient heavenly rock? They were shocked. A huge monster appeared between heaven and earth, causing the mountains and rivers to shatter, and the sky to break. The terrifying aura made everyone's scalps go numb. Even the powerhouses of the Phoenix clan were frowning. Ancestral bloodline. Flawless 100 Miles could actually reach such a level. It was too unbelievable. This kind of bloodline was only a little bit away from the Emperor's bloodline. This way, the other party wouldn't be afraid of the Emperor's divine ability. Chapter 5106. An ancient heavenly rock appeared between heaven and earth. Everyone was on high alert. Lin Xian's demon god seal was shattered by the ancient heavenly rock. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. The scene before him was extremely strange. The ancient heavenly rock did not appear out of thin air. It grew out of Flawless Bailey's back. In other words, Flawless Bailey's bloodline power caused the ancient heavenly rock to appear. Flawless Bailey carried the ancient heavenly rock on his back. The ancient heavenly rock did not appear completely, only a part of it. However, a pair of wings was enough to sweep everything away. He said coldly, "So what if you have a great emperor's ability? Without the true great emperor's ancient scripture, you are no match for me." He shouted angrily and strode over. The ancient heavenly rock behind him moved quickly, and dazzling laws rushed out. It shone in all directions and charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian kept dodging, turning into countless afterimages. He used Shadowless Heaven's net to the extreme. It was useless. Which afterimages were shattered instantly. Flawless Bailey said, "Do you have any other moves? If not, you have lost this battle. From now on, I will be the king of the crown." At this moment, Flawless Bailey was like a god. Lin Xian stood there with a cold expression. He had lost. What a joke. He still had many trump cards that he had not used, but he planned to use another trump card. Today, I will let you see my trump card. Lin Xian's eyes shone brightly. He did not cultivate one or two great emperor's abilities, but the demon summoning scripture. The demon summoning scripture was very magical. The reason why it was called that was because when cultivated to the extreme, one could summon a demon god to fight for them. That was the most terrifying thing about the demon summoning scripture. Now his opponent's bloodline had returned to its ancestral state and summoned the ancient heavenly rock. Lin Xian planned to summon the demon god to fight against his opponent. He also wanted to feel the true power of the demon summoning scripture. The laws on his body flowed, and demonic aura filled the sky, covering the 9 heavens. Lin Xian seemed to have turned into a demon lord at this moment. He was extremely terrifying. At the same time, a blurry phantom appeared behind him, like a shadow. The shadow was too blurry. It was as if it would disappear with a gust of wind. However, he appeared behind Lin Xian. The moment this figure appeared, everyone felt terrified. Their souls felt like they were about to kneel on the ground and worship it. The expression of the Tianpeng race's expert changed greatly. What was that? Could he summon it as well? Could it be that he had the bloodline of the demon race? Countless terrified voices could be heard. Even the members of the Phoenix clan were shocked. What was going on? Why do I feel frightened? That's impossible. We have Emperor clan bloodlines, so why would we fear the other party? Morong Qingqing was also surprised. Her body was covered in 7-colored light, and the phantom of a 7-colored phoenix enveloped her. What exactly did older brother Xian summon behind him? To be able to make my bloodline feel as if it is facing a great enemy? The Phoenix clan leader's expression also changed. She also had a feeling of unease. At this moment, in an ancient palace of the Phoenix clan, a beautiful woman opened her eyes. There was an extremely terrifying bloodline phantom in her body. She was the princess of the Phoenix clan. Fengjiu. What was going on? How could there be such a terrifying aura outside? Someone come. With an angry shout, a guard outside knelt on the ground and said, "Princess, what orders do you have?" Fengjiu asked. What happened outside? The guard said that the Tianpeng race's Bailey Wuck was fighting with someone, and the patriarch had opened the ancient battlefield. Ancient battlefield, Bailey Wuck. Fengjiu frowned. Could it be that an emperor had come? Her figure flashed as she left the ancient palace and flew into the distance. In the next moment, she arrived above the ancient battlefield. Her appearance caused countless people to raise their heads to look up. Heavens, it's Fengjiu. Fairy Fengjiu actually came out. No way, wasn't she cultivating in seclusion? Exclamations of surprise rang out one after another. Although Morong Qingqing's reputation was great and countless people looked up to her, Fengjiu was even more famous. However, Fengjiu was even more famous because she was the daughter of the great emperor, the princess of the Phoenix clan. This was the existence that stood at the peak. The other party's bloodline power made everyone feel terrified and uneasy. Even the primordial heavenly Peng roared. Fengjiu, why are you here? The Phoenix clan's patriarch stood up with a look of surprise. Fengjiu said, "Who is that?" She stared at Lin Xian and frowned. She knew Bailey Wuck. In her opinion, Bailey Wuck must have encountered a peerless enemy when the ancient battlefield was opened. Only the crown prince could threaten Bailey Wuck. She guessed that it should be one of those emperors, but after seeing the other party, she was stunned. It wasn't the dragon prince, but a young man she had never seen before. This young man was too strange. He stood there with a monstrous demonic aura. Moreover, the demonic shadow that was summoned behind him made her feel extremely uncomfortable. She used her powerful bloodline, and even the ancient Tianpeng summoned by Bailey Wuck roared uneasily. However, the demonic shadow didn't seem to have any reaction. Could it be that the demonic shadow wasn't afraid of her emperor bloodline? This was too unbelievable. She said, "Who is this person? What's his background?" The Phoenix clan leader spoke. His name was Lin Xian, Qingqing's husband. He also had a title, Lin Wudi. He was a peerless genius that was suitable for the dragon prince to be crowned on the same day. He was Lin Wudi, Crown King. Fengjiu was surprised. She naturally paid attention to the coronation. She knew that the Dragon Prince and another person called Lin Wudi would be crowned together. However, what surprised her was that this person actually came here. Moreover, he was Murong Qingqing's husband. Murong Qingqing really hid her strength well. Fengjiu glanced at Murong Qingqing and frowned slightly. Although she was very confident in her bloodline, the rainbow phoenix was a very rare existence. However, the seven-colored phoenix was an extremely special existence within the Phoenix clan. Once it grew up, it would also pose a threat to her. Now that the other party had a crown king by his side, it was really not good. Everyone was envious of Fengjiu's arrival. Bailey Wux's expression was solemn. He didn't care at all. Because he didn't have a chance. The demonic shadow that Lin Xian summoned made him feel as if he was facing a great enemy. Even Lin Xian was shocked. He felt as if a god was standing behind him. He didn't turn back because he couldn't. Let me see the true power of the demon summoning scripture. The demonic shadow was controlled by Lin Xian and slowly raised his hand. One of his fingers became solid as if it was going to materialize. He pointed forward. Demon God finger. Boom. Heaven and earth were collapsing. A terrifying aura swept out in all directions. The entire immemorial battlefield was shaking violently. Not good. This guy wouldn't break through the immemorial battlefield, right? Where did this demonic shadow come from? Everyone retreated frantically. Chapter 5107. This finger attack was truly too terrifying. The ancient heavenly Peng roared crazily. It flapped its wings and charged over. This power could overturn everything. However, when it met that finger, it instantly collapsed. The ancient heavenly Peng howled as countless cracks appeared on its body. Then, it exploded into a bloody mist. Bailey Wuxia also spat out blood and retreated. His face became pale. This ancient heavenly Peng was condensed from the power of his bloodline. Now that it was destroyed, his bloodline became extremely weak. He had lost too much power. He retreated far away, his body swaying. This was impossible. He roared crazily. This was already his strongest trump card. However, he could not do anything to the other party. Damn it. Why? Was he really unable to defeat the other party? The others were also shocked. What exactly was that black finger? What was that demonic shadow? They were all shocked, and even the Phoenix clan was frowning. Why did they feel that this demonic shadow was so dangerous? Even Lin Xian was stunned. So powerful. He knew how terrifying the ancient heavenly Peng was. If he wanted to destroy it, he would have to take out the heaven-swallowing jar, or the great dragon sword. But now just a single finger had done it. It was truly shocking. This was just a single finger. If he summoned the entire demon god phantom, no one would be a match for him. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He wanted to continue cultivating the illusion demon scripture and try to summon a more realistic demonic shadow. After retracting the demon god phantom, Lin Xian looked forward and took a deep breath. This summoning had consumed a lot of his power. However, he had the sword world, so he was not afraid. He looked forward and said, "You have lost. Fulfill your promise. From now on, wherever Qingqing appears, you will disappear." "Fine, I will do what I say." Bailey Wuxia gritted his teeth. "Lin Wudi, I lost to you this time. However, one day, I will win." With that, he turned and left. The heavenly Peng race quickly chased after him. Now that Bailey Wuxia was seriously injured, they had to protect him well. The heavenly Peng race leader also said, "Fellow Phoenix, we will take our leave first." With that, he quickly left with his people. Was he defeated? The surrounding people exclaimed. They really couldn't imagine it. Originally, they were all worried for Lin Xian. However, in the end, Flawless Bailey was defeated. Was he really that scary? Sure, Yuanfeng suddenly felt that his defeat was not unacceptable. On the other hand, the people of the Lei Dong clan were terrified. They were so frightened that they knelt on the ground. After provoking such an existence, they would be in danger in the future. An elder of the Thunderdong clan hurriedly took out a few congratulatory gifts and said, "Young Master Lin, we have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai and offended you. Let us apologize to you. I hope that young master will accept these things. After saying that, he put it in the void and quickly fled with his people. Lin Xian waved his hand and used thunderclap hand. The elder's grandson was shredded into pieces. He screamed miserably, didn't he? Save me. The members of the Lei Dong clan stopped, turning their heads to look. He discovered that the other party's heart and soul had been completely destroyed. Those people were terrified. Lin Xian sneered. He wanted to kill me, so it's normal for me to kill him. Are you going to avenge him? The people of the Lei Dong clan fell silent. The leading elder smiled and said, We don't dare. Let's go. Their hearts were bleeding, but they still had to smile. This was a feeling that they had not experienced for many years. Now, a young man had suppressed them to the point where they could not raise their heads. The others were even more shocked after seeing this. Oh heavens, they seemed to have witnessed the rise of a young emperor. The other clans and sects also came to pay their respects. In the crowd, Bei Yi Jialuo and the others were stunned. Was he really the brother Lin that they knew? He was actually the One Crown King. He actually defeated Flawless Bailey. These people felt like they were dreaming. The people of the Phoenix clan were also shocked. The Phoenix clan leader took a deep breath and walked forward. Young Master Lin, please. She was very polite. The surrounding people were shocked. The clan leader of an emperor clan was actually so polite to a young man. One could imagine that the Phoenix clan also thought highly of him. Let's go. Lin Xian held Qingqing's hand and walked inside. Next, the Phoenix clan grandly received Lin Xian. The surrounding people also congratulated him. In an instant, Lin Xian became the focus of everyone's attention. The news here spread out and the world was shocked. They did not expect this Lin Xian to be so terrifying. The people of the Heavenly Rock clan had ugly expressions. The Lei Dong clan was also gnashing their teeth. They had lost all their face. They were even prepared to contact the Heavenly Rock clan to see if they needed compensation or assassination. However, there was no movement from the Heavenly Rock clan. It was obvious that the blow this time was too big for them. They could not accept that the number one genius had been defeated. The faces of the Phoenix clan's geniuses also changed, and they all smiled. They came to Lin Xian's side and proposed a toast. Previously, they were all arrogant, but now, they had to put on a smiling face. Because at this moment, sitting on both sides of Lin Xian was Morong Qingqing of the seven-colored Phoenix bloodline. The other was their princess, Fengjiu. With the two of them sitting here, who would dare to be impudent? In addition, Lin Wudi's strength was not weaker than the prince's. Everyone could only curry favor with him. You cultivate the inheritance of the arch, right? Fengjiu asked in a deep voice. Lin Xian nodded. That's right, it was indeed the inheritance of the arch. He did not hide it. This matter had already spread in Holy Abyss ancient city. The Phoenix clan only needed to ask around to find out. Moreover, he did not plan to hide it. He displayed strength that was not weaker than the prince's. He did not have the bloodline of a prince, so it could only be the inheritance of the arch. He was not afraid of these people coming to snatch it. Whoever dared to make a move on him, he would send them to hell. Very good, I didn't expect to meet another powerful opponent. However, I hope that we can work together. Qingqing is a member of the Phoenix clan, so you are naturally an important guest of the Phoenix clan. When the time comes, we can work together and sweep away those princes before deciding the winner. Sure, you can discuss this matter with Qingqing. Lin Xian nodded. Although he and Fengjiu would fight sooner or later, they could work together to attack the other monarch races first. Moreover, working together with the Phoenix clan would also give Lin Xian a powerful boost. Even if the other party could not help him kill the Dragon Prince, he could still rely on the power of the Phoenix clan to restrain the other enemies. It could be said that Lin Xian was not at a disadvantage at all. In the following days, Lin Xian stayed in the Phoenix clan with Morong Qingqing. As for the dark red divine dragon, Toad and Little White, they went out to play happily. Lin Xian was not worried. These guys were also very powerful. About 2 months had passed, and Lin Xian had been cultivating in silence. However, the dark red divine dragon flew back. His face was covered in dust, and he gritted his teeth. Damn it, this is too much. Chapter 5108. What happened? Lin Xian asked with a frown. He looked around and realized that only the dark red divine dragon and Little White had returned. He asked, "Where's the toad?" "It's a long story. Anyway, follow me to save the toad first." The dark red divine dragon quickly flew into the distance. Lin Xian took Little White and soared into the sky, following after him. On the way he understood. It turned out that when the three of them went out to play and look for heaven and earth treasures, they met a group of people. Those people were very powerful. After seeing the three of them, they thought that they were heaven and earth spiritual beasts, and wanted to suppress them. In the end, the dark red divine dragon ran out, and the toad was suppressed. "Who are those people?" Lin Xian asked with a frown. "I'm not sure. The aura on their bodies is very terrifying. It seems to be yin and yang aura, but it's not exactly yin and yang aura." Yin and yang aura? Lin Xian was puzzled. Could they be from the Kunpeng race? Thinking of this, he sped up even more. A pair of black wings appeared on his back. "Follow me." He brought the dark red divine dragon and Little White with him. The demon god wings flapped and turned into a bolt of lightning. His speed was 10 times faster than before. In a mountain peak, endless laws condensed, and the palaces and pavilions turned into a paradise. A woman sat there, playing a zither. She was extremely beautiful. The aura on her body was very mysterious. It was a little holy but also a little eerie. Around her stood figures with the same aura. And in the huge cauldron opposite her, there was a figure suppressed. It was a toad. At this moment, it was crazily trying to escape. However, it couldn't escape. "Damn it, let me out if you have the guts. I'll fight you to the death. Do you know who I am? I have a very powerful brother. You'd better let me go obediently. Otherwise you're dead." Ever since the toad was captured, it began to roar crazily here. It was furious. It seemed that this fellow wanted to cook it. The powerhouses in front frowned. "Princess, this damn toad is too annoying. Should we cripple it?" The mysterious woman stopped playing the zither. She looked up and nodded slightly. "Let's cook it first. This toad is a heaven and earth beast and is highly poisonous. The poison refined from her other meridians should be a precious treasure." "I know." The two guards walked over and formed a seal with their palms, spitting out terrifying flames that enveloped the cauldron. The toad screamed miserably inside. "Damn, it's so hot. You're not thinking of stewing me, are you?" I'm covered in poison. You'll die from the poison if you eat me." The toad roared, but to no avail. The temperature of the cauldron rose higher and higher. "Is he not here yet? Damn it, what's wrong with Ruffian Dragon?" He knew that the dark red divine dragon and Little White would definitely call for Lin Xian after they escaped. However, before the other party arrived, he would probably become a braised toad. At this moment, the mysterious woman spoke again. "I'll give you another choice. If you obediently submit to me, become my puppet, and create poison for me every day, I can spare your life." The toad was not an ordinary demonic beast. The poison in its body was extremely terrifying. When those great sage were enveloped by his poisonous gas, they were severely injured and died. Such a thing would naturally attract the attention of others. Upon hearing this, the toad roared crazily. "You want me to submit? That's not impossible. Just let me out first." "Let you out and then run away? Although you're cunning, you won't be able to withstand a single blow from us. Guards, place a soul restriction on him. If he tries to resist, cook him." As the cold voice fell, a terrifying light burst out from the eyes of the two experts. Just as the toad was about to fall into a dangerous situation, a voice came from the sky. "Who dares to touch him? Great, they're here." Upon hearing this voice, the toad laughed complacently. "Ha ha ha ha, let's see how you'll die. Since you dared to offend me, I'll turn you all into battle servants later." The two experts frowned. "Who is it?" "Go to hell." One of them raised his hand and struck the void. It was a terrifying palm that seemed like the hand of a god. It shattered the void within 1,000,000 miles. 3 figures descended from the boundless black hole. "It's you." The other expert also frowned. They recognized the dark red divine dragon and Little White. They were the 2 demonic beasts that had escaped from their hands. They didn't expect them to return. "Seems like my luck is really good." The woman in front, Yin Yu, smiled. She could tell that although the toad was terrifying, the dragon and monkey's bloodlines were even more extraordinary. However, the two of them had the means to escape. She was careless and let them slip away. She was annoyed and even wanted to ask the toad about their whereabouts. She didn't expect them to return. The toad roared crazily. "Good brother, you're finally here. Hurry up and kill them. They actually want to cook me." The toad stomped its feet in pain. Lin Xian looked down and frowned. The toad was his partner. He said coldly, "I'll give you a chance. Let go of my partner and kneel down to accept your punishment." "Just you?" When the experts below heard this, they were all stunned. Then they laughed. "Is this kid retarded?" Yin Yu also looked at the toad and sneered. "Is this the reinforcements you invited? He's just a young ant. Does he dare to fight against us?" She looked up and said coldly, "Do you know who we are? You dare to fight against our destiny twins? Do you not know how to write the word death?" Destiny twins? Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned. He had never heard of it. "I gave you a chance. Since you don't cherish it, don't blame me for taking action." A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. "Stupid things, you're courting death." A powerhouse from the Twin of Destiny clan at the front shouted in anger. He slapped his palm over. The palm instantly turned as black as ink. Hand of punishment. The entire world shattered once again, and an endless black hole appeared. This attack was truly too terrifying. This was a peerless ability. Legend had it that it could punish everything in the world. No one could escape from it. At this moment, it was used by this expert. It was really terrifying. There was a strange power between heaven and earth. The dark red divine dragon frowned. "Damn it, this is the power. It's a bit like the power of darkness, but it's different. Kid, be careful. They're very strange. Don't worry, they can't withstand a single blow." Lin Xian stood there and said indifferently. The expert who attacked snorted coldly. "Stupid thing." His hand of punishment had already arrived above the other party. In the next moment, the other party would definitely die. If the other party died, the three divine beasts would be theirs. They would use the other party's bloodline to create divine pills. Looking at the descending hand of punishment, Lin Xian raised his palm and slapped forward. Chapter 5109. Lin Xian's palm was like the sun, indestructible. The strongest sun shone on the hand of punishment. The cold aura on the hand of punishment collided with it, and an earth-shaking sound rang out. Two completely opposite forces collided. That aura was extremely terrifying, and all the mountains within millions of miles were shattered. On the opposite side, the eyelids of the Twins of Destiny clan twitched wildly. This guy was so terrifying that he could block the hand of punishment. It was too unbelievable. Suddenly their pupils shrank. They found that in the intense collision, the hand of punishment burned and turned into ashes. How was this possible? They exclaimed in disbelief. The hand of punishment was so terrifying that it could even suppress and extinguish flames. But now, the other party's flames burned their divine ability. What was going on? The powerhouse who attacked also retreated. His arms turned into ashes, and his face became incomparably ugly. The surrounding Twins of Destiny clan were all stunned. That young man just casually threw out a palm and broke their great divine ability. What kind of power was this? Great! The dark red divine dragon laughed, and the toad roared crazily. "Humph, now you know how powerful my brother is. I've already told you not to provoke me, but you didn't listen. Now just you wait for my wrath." Lin Xian stepped in the air and looked down. He said coldly, "What other tricks do you have? Show them all." "Damn brat, don't be arrogant." The Twins of Destiny clan roared. Yin Yu also stood up. She looked up at the sky. For the first time, she seriously sized up the other party. It turned out that the other party was not an ant. He was a top-notch expert. She said in a deep voice, "Who are you? Do you want to become enemies with my Twins of Destiny clan? I advise you not to do so." "So what if you're from the Twins of Destiny clan? How is the Tianpeng clan compared to your clan? Their clan can't do anything to me, let alone you." Hearing this, the surrounding people were stunned. The Tianpeng clan couldn't do anything to the other party? What a joke. The Tianpeng clan was a clan of the ancients, and they were very terrifying. They were in existence second only to the great emperor clan. His clan's number one genius, Bailiwick, was an expert who could compete with the crown prince. It was rumored that he had a high chance of becoming a true great emperor. The other party actually dared to say such big words. How laughable. Yin Yu also shook her head and sighed. Young master, although you have some strength, you can't be compared to others. But you think too highly of yourself. Just how vast was the Jadoth continent? With countless geniuses, experts were as common as clouds in the sky. How many can you block? Not to mention the entire heavenly rock race. Even that number one genius, Flawless Bailey, is not someone you can contend against. Those who could compete with Flawless Bailey were all imperial princes. On this continent, there were definitely no more than 5 people. Is that so? Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. You still don't know that Bailiwick has already lost, right? So what if he lost? He didn't lose to you. The person who defeated him was even more powerful. The only one who could contend with Flawless Bailey was the Phoenix clan's princess, Fengjiu. Then there was that Lin Wudi. Do you know who that Lin Wudi is? He was someone who defeated the Dragon Prince and was crowned as the Crown King. Can you contend with such a person? To be honest, they didn't believe it either. Previously, Yin Yu and the others had made a trip to the underworld. When they returned, they heard the news of Flawless Bailey's defeat. At that time, they thought that someone was joking. After careful investigation, they realized that Flawless Bailey had indeed lost. The person who defeated Flawless Bailey was someone called Lin Wudi. They had also investigated this person and discovered something even more shocking. He was crowned together with the Dragon Prince and had even injured the Dragon Prince. He could be said to be a young great emperor. In the sky, the toad and the dark red dragon wanted to laugh. The Lin Wudi that the other party was talking about was standing right in front of them. How laughable. These people actually didn't know. The Destiny twins coldly snorted. Who do you think you are? Imperial Prince or Lin Wudi? If you aren't, you don't have the qualifications to contend with us. We have 10,000 ways to make you suffer a fate worse than death. The powerhouse whose arm was burned stood up. Why are you talking nonsense with him? I want to kill him with my own hands. I was just careless before. He was indeed careless because he had never put Lin Xian in his eyes. He just didn't expect that the other party had such a terrifying flame. Now that he was careful, he didn't believe that he would lose again. An extremely terrifying aura bloomed from his body, and a holy light shone. So what if the other party had the power of the extreme yang? Not only did the Destiny twins have the power of the cold, but they also had the power of the holy. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into an angel, holy, and made people look up to him. Another palm struck out. Palm of purification. The palm that was like a god slapped over. It was completely different from the previous palm of punishment. Brat, let's see what your flame can do to me this time. He let out a sinister laugh. The dark red dragon and the others sneered. He really didn't know what death was. Did Lin Xian only have the 9-yang divine flame? These people would regret it. Lin Xian's face also darkened. He snorted coldly and pointed out with his finger. Demonic god finger. With this finger, demonic qi overflowed into the sky. The terrifying aura tore through the 9 heavens. The holy palms that filled the sky were instantly engulfed. No. The powerhouse who attacked wanted to escape, but his glabella was pierced by the finger. His body and soul were destroyed. He was dead. The surrounding people were shocked and couldn't believe it. Their companion was also a top-notch powerhouse. He was an extremely terrifying existence in the middle stage of the Great Sage. But now he was killed by the other party with a single finger. What kind of method was that? The surrounding powerhouses felt their scalps go numb. They looked at Lin Xian with fear in their eyes. Yinyue's expression also changed. If the other party was an old monster, she wouldn't be surprised at all. But the other party was too young. Such a person had such strength. It was something that she couldn't imagine. Who exactly are you? She shouted in a delicate voice. Lin Xian sneered. You look smart, but why are you so stupid? Can't you even guess who I am? Lin Xian looked down like a demon god. Yunyue's expression became incomparably ugly. She wasn't stupid. He was a top-notch genius. She could naturally see that the other party's strength had reached an unparalleled level at such a young age. The other party was a supreme youth. Such a person was already no different from the crown prince. And the other party wasn't the crown prince, so there was only one person. It was Lin Wudi. The only rising supreme youth was Lin Wudi, who had just defeated Bailey Wuck. The other party appeared in this place again. There was definitely no mistake. She gritted her teeth and said, "You are Lin Wudi?" The other powerhouses of the Twins of Destiny were also shocked after hearing this. They sucked in a breath of cold air. They had previously said that the other party treated the other party as a supreme youth. Chapter 51:10. So you're Lin Wudi. Yunyu's beautiful eyes flickered. She sighed. Since that's the case, I won't make things difficult for you. Take your friends and leave. Is this the end? The dark red dragon snorted coldly. You attacked us before, and now you want us to leave with just a sentence? Aren't you too naive? The toad jumped out and sneered. That's right, I said before that if you offend me, you'll have to suffer my anger. Now, cripple your arms obediently and hand over your storage rings. Then kneel on the ground and wait for my orders. What? As soon as these words came out, the people of the Destiny Twins were furious. Are you courting death? How dare you? Who do you think you are? Yunyu's expression was also cold. Lin Wudi, I admit that you're powerful and have the strength of an emperor. But so what? No matter how strong you are, you're just one person. Can you fight against the entire Destiny Twins? Our family's strength is not something you can imagine. If you offend us, it won't be difficult for you to die. Are you threatening me now? Lin Xian also laughed. There are many people who threaten me. Even the Thousand Dragon Dynasty wanted to kill me back then, but they still didn't succeed. My brother is right. If you dare to attack them, you have to be punished. Are you going to cripple your own arms and kneel down to die? Or do you want me to do it? You're courting death. The people of the Destiny Twins were furious. The two of them instantly charged over. One of them struck out with the hand of punishment, while the other struck out with the hand of holy. Shattering heaven and earth, they charged toward Lin Xian's head and heart. Lin Xian sneered. Scram. He waved his sleeve, and a terrifying sword light covered the sky and earth. These sword chi were incomparably cold, tearing apart the 9 heavens and instantly shattering the two's divine abilities. The two of them also vomited large mouthfuls of blood, and were sent flying. The dark red dragon said, Brat, leave the people around to me. I'll leave the woman below to you. Be careful, she's very strong. The toad also shouted angrily, I'll play with you guys. He shot out poison that filled the sky and killed the surrounding people of the Destiny Twins. The dark red dragon even used the spirit vein under the ground, turning it into an extremely terrifying spirit vein power. He charged out. A great battle broke out in an instant. Lin Xian walked forward and stared at Yunyu. Yunyu's expression was cold, without the slightest fear. A cold killing intent appeared in her eyes. Lin Wudi, let me ask you, have you ever been to hell? You even know about this? Lin Xian was stunned. Yunyu's eyes instantly turned red. It was indeed him. Looks like there aren't many people called Lin Wudi in this world. You were the one who killed the Dead Soul Abyss. How did you even know about this? Lin Xian was even more surprised. You're from the underworld? Yunyu snorted coldly. The Dead Soul's Abyss was engaged to me. Since you killed my fiancé, don't blame me for being impolite. I will use all of my power to kill you. And I will not hesitate to mobilize the experts of the older generation. Lin Xian smiled. The Dead Soul's Abyss had been killed, and they deserved it. As for you, can you leave today? Lin Wudi, you're too arrogant. You're looking down on me too much. I'm also a top prodigy, and I even dare to compete with the princess. Today, I'll let you experience the power of the Destiny Twins. Yunyu was also a top prodigy, but Lin Xian had only been in the Yuheng continent for a short time, so he didn't know about the prodigies of the Yuheng continent. Yunyu's reputation was that of a prodigy, and her existence was like a pearl. Her reputation was not inferior to Bailey Wuck's. At this moment, Yin Yu waved her hand and slapped forward. A large black crack appeared in front of Lin Xian. There was a gloomy and cold aura on it, and it wanted to swallow Lin Xian. The Destiny Twins. Lin Xian now understood that these two opposite powers were like the power of yin and yang. He wasn't afraid. Looking at the large black crack, he also stretched out his hand. His 5 fingers closed, and a terrifying flaming palm covered the sky and earth. It was like a towering mountain, and it was as if the fire god had reached out, grabbing the entire spatial crack in his hand. The palm exerted force, and the entire crack split into pieces. Then his figure flashed, and he instantly appeared in front of his opponent. You can also try my strength. He threw out a punch. 6-path fist, shattering heaven and earth. Feeling this terrifying power, Yin Yu's figure kept swaying. She seemed to have turned into moonlight, and her movement technique was abnormally ethereal. She shouted angrily, but she didn't escape. Instead, she fought with Lin Xian. The laws danced in the air, and divine abilities emerged one after another. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. Lin Xian was shocked. He had to admit that his opponent was indeed terrifying. When the two opposite powers were combined, they appeared and disappeared unpredictably. Moreover, the two powers seemed to be able to merge. It was indeed beyond his imagination. This woman was indeed a top prodigy, and the Destiny Twins were indeed worthy of their reputation. However, Lin Xian smiled and said, "Your strength is not bad, but it's only on par with Bailey Wuck. Even he was defeated. Do you think you can win against me? How dare you look down on me?" Yin Yu roared and threw out both palms. One was as black as ink, and the other was as holy as an angel. The two palms fiercely slapped towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian's fist pressed forward with indomitable will. At the same time he waved his hand, an endless sword light appeared. Tens of thousands of sword lights blocked the palms that filled the sky. Then he struck out again. Azura sword technique. This sword caused Yin Yu's forehead to almost split open. Her expression changed drastically. Not good. This was a sure-kill sword. How could the other party have such a godlike attack? She quickly retreated. At the same time, she formed a law clone in front of her to block this sure-kill sword. The law clone was split into two. A drop of blood dripped down from the sky. It was also black and white. Yin Yu's face was pale, and blood appeared at the corner of her mouth. She was injured. Lin Xian was surprised. Not bad, she could actually dodge the Azura sword technique. You are indeed a top-notch expert. One had to know that Lin Xian had used the Azura sword to kill many terrifying great sage. But the other party could easily dodge and only suffered some light injuries. Not good, the princess was actually injured. The Destiny Twins who were fighting with the dark red dragon in the distance were also shocked. Was this Lin Xian already so terrifying? This was not good news. Lin Wudi, you actually dared to hurt me. You have completely angered me. Now, I will let you see the strongest technique of my Destiny Twins. She used the power of her bloodline to the extreme. At this moment, half of his face was pitch black, and the other half was divine. My Destiny Gemini clan worships the good twin and the evil twin. They are our ancestors. Now, I will let you know the power of the good and evil. As she spoke, two blurry images seemed to appear behind her. They were two statues. One had ferocious fangs, like a demon from hell. The other was like an angel, ascending to the heavens. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with an extremely sharp light. What a terrifying bloodline power. This was the first time he had seen it. I hope you won't disappoint me. The corners of his mouth curled up. Show me what you have. Yin Yu snorted coldly and fell into hell forever. Chapter 51:11. The terrifying abyss of hell swallowed Lin Xian. Yin Yu snorted coldly. Everything was over. In the distance, the people of the Twin of Destiny clan also laughed wildly. You dare to go against our princess, you will definitely die. The evil sun in the sky wanted to put away the abyss of hell. However, at this moment, a sword light soared into the sky and flew out from the abyss of hell. Then it fell mercilessly. The surrounding heaven and earth shattered, and the abyss of hell was split into two. Lin Xian walked out from inside. Sword energy surrounded his body, making him look like a sword god. I have passed through the real 18 levels of hell, and can come out calmly. Not to mention the abyss of hell that you have evolved. It can't suppress me at all. Is this the method of the evil son? It's only Esazo. How is this possible? Did he escape? The people of the Twin of Destiny clan were shocked. The dark red divine dragon and the others sneered. How do you ants know how powerful he is? Yunyu's face was also cold. The abyss of hell was actually helpless against the other party. Then purify. You are a demon. I will destroy your soul. On the other side, the virtuous son formed a seal with his palm and formed a purification bottle. The bottle mouth drooped down. An endless light swept through the 9 heavens like the Milky Way. The demonic chi that filled the sky was shaken and quickly dissipated. It had to be said that this purification bottle was really terrifying. Lin Xian seemed to feel a huge suppression. There seemed to be a force that was about to restrain him. He snorted coldly, and the demonic chi on his body disappeared. In an instant, it turned into the flames of the highest yang, burning fiercely. The 9 suns' divine fist attacked, together with the 6 paths fist. The monstrous flames and terrifying fists shattered heaven and earth. The virtuous sun's phantom and the bottle in his hand also shook, as if they would shatter at any time. This was an earth-shattering battle. Yunyu felt a huge pressure. She had never seen such a terrifying person. Moreover, the other party was like her, able to transform into the Sun War God and terrifying demonic shadows. How could she contend against such an existence? Lin Xian attacked and suppressed the virtuous sun. At the same time, he slashed out with his sword towards the evil sun. One person against 2 forces. Boom. At this moment, the power of the 6 paths fist shattered the virtuous sun like reincarnation. The holy radiance that filled the sky was torn apart and scattered all over the ground. Haha, one down. The dark red dragon and the others laughed. The toad also roared in delight. Let's see how you'll die this time. Lin Xian turned his head and stared at the evil brat. It's time to deal with you. The sword chi was like a dragon as it charged forward. The great battle erupted once again. The evil child was suppressed. At this moment, an extremely terrifying light suddenly appeared behind him. Then a palm strike came. Lin Xian never thought that someone would appear. And it was so terrifying. In an instant he was sent flying. The demonic chi on his back was torn apart, and a terrifying crack appeared on his body, almost piercing through his body. Boom! The boundless earth in front of him shattered, and Lin Xian was drowned in ruins. With a boom, Lin Xian charged out once again. Golden dragon blood dripped down from the sky, letting out a series of roars. His back was a blur, and his internal organs were all injured. Not good. The dark red divine dragon roared. Little White was so anxious that her eyes turned red. Who was it? They took a closer look and were stunned. They saw a statue that was incomparably holy, as if an angel had descended. It was the good sun from before. How was this possible? They shouted angrily. Wasn't this thing broken into pieces by Lin Xian previously? Why did it come out again? Lin Xian's face was also cold. He couldn't understand either. Yunyu sneered. It's useless. Do you know why we're called the Twin of Destiny? As long as one is alive, the other can be reborn. Lin Xian understood. The evil child didn't die, and even if the good child was broken, it would reappear. It was really terrifying. No wonder the other party was so confident before. Lin Xian's face was cold. Then I'll kill them all. Yunyu sneered. You? Do you have the ability? He activated the good child again, and charged over with the evil child. Lin Xian shouted angrily and fought in all directions. This time, a huge seal appeared in his hand. It was incomparably terrifying. The demon god seal swept across heaven and earth, forcing the evil child to retreat continuously. The hell's abyss in his hand was also shattered. At this moment, the demon god seal erupted with power and directly suppressed the evil child. Lin Xian, on the other hand, held the hellfire dragon sword and charged towards the good child. One was suppressed, one was dealt with, and the other was dealt with in an instant. However, at this moment, the evil child self-destructed, and the demon god seal suppressed the ground. Soon he reappeared from another place. It's useless. I've said it before, unless the two of you perish together, Otherwise, you won't be able to kill them at all, and you won't be able to kill me. So difficult to deal with. Toad and the others frowned. Even Lin Xian's expression was cold. Wasn't the other party's survival state even more terrifying than the Emperor's? That was impossible. A golden light appeared in his eyes. He carefully investigated and found that after these 2 times of shattering, the other party's aura was much weaker than before. In other words, the other party couldn't recover indefinitely. When the other party's strength was used up, this effect would disappear. Then he would directly kill the other party until he had no strength. Lin Xian attacked again. Following that, the good and evil children were killed or suppressed a few more times. After 5 times, Yunyue's expression became incomparably ugly. She didn't even have half of the power in her body. Only 1/3 was left. If this continued, she would be finished. He roared and took out the heavenly materials and earthly treasures in his storage ring. She swallowed them all. Her strength was erupting. It was useless to try to exhaust me. Our trump cards and resources are enough to support us. Lin Xian didn't attack again. The other party was right. With the other party's identity, the resources in his hands would definitely not be small. There might even be several worlds to rely on. This way, it would be impossible to exhaust the other party. Haha, you don't have any other moves, right? I said that you can't do anything to me. Yunyue's expression was cold. As long as I leave, I will mobilize the great sage of our Gemini clan to hunt you down. Until your soul is destroyed. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a terrifying power of reincarnation suddenly erupted from his eyes. Yunyue's body trembled, and her soul seemed to be torn apart. No. She roared crazily, and the phantom of the good child instantly merged into her body. An earth-shattering sound rang out. The good child roared towards the sky. Yunyue retreated into the distance. She vomited large mouthfuls of blood, and blood flowed out of her eyes. She looked ahead and gritted her teeth. Technique. Damn it, you want to control me? It was too dangerous. If she didn't have the good and evil children that she could summon at any time, she was probably really controlled by the other party just now. Lin Xian frowned tightly. He found that he had indeed controlled her. However, he was controlling the phantom of the good child. The other party's methods were very strange. With a cold snort, the power of reincarnation killed the good child. This caused Yunyue's aura to weaken again. But soon, the good child was summoned again and surrounded her. Chapter 51:12. Yunyue's cold voice sounded, and the virtuous sun behind her condensed a sacred sword. The evil sun condensed a devil blade. The sword and saber attacked, sweeping across heaven and earth, and charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian also felt a huge pressure. To be honest, if it were other experts, they would have been defeated by him. But because the virtuous sun and the evil sun were the twin of destiny, unless they were killed instantly, otherwise it would be difficult to end this battle. An extremely terrifying light appeared in his eyes. I don't believe it. You can always recover. On the Hellfire Dragon Sword, an extremely terrifying dragon-shaped phantom appeared. That was the aura of the Dragon Sword soul, which transformed into the Dragon Battle Sword. Together with the Hellfire Dragon Sword, it slashed over. The sword collided with the sacred sword and shattered the sacred sword. The virtuous sun was split into 2 halves. It was useless. Yunyue sneered and continued to attack. But soon, she found that the situation was not right. This time, the virtuous sun that was split apart did not recover instantly. Instead, it took a long time. How was this possible? Yunyue was stunned. Why did such a thing happen? Did she lose her powers? She took out another storage ring, and there were thousands of pills inside. She swallowed them. Any great sage who saw these pills would go green with envy. After swallowing these pills, her exhausted strength instantly recovered. Again. With an angry roar, she attacked again. Lin Xian continued to wave the Hellfire Dragon Sword, and the dragon-shaped sword aura on it surged and slashed towards the evil sun. The evil sun was split into 2 halves, and the recovery process was even slower. What was going on? Yunyue roared in horror. Her current strength was at its peak, but the situation was even worse than before. Damn it, What did you do? She roared. Lin Xian smiled. The dragon sword soul was invincible and extremely sharp. Even if it was the virtuous sun and the evil sun, it would be difficult for them to recover. Thinking of this, he continued to use the dragon sword soul, and more dragon-shaped sword aura surged and condensed. The virtuous sun and the evil sun's injuries became more and more serious. In the end, Lin Xian waved his hand and summoned the dragon sword soul. He slashed it apart. This time, the virtuous sun and the evil sun were completely shattered and could not recover. Puff! Yin Yu spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backwards. A crack had also appeared between her brows. His entire body was almost split in half. How could this be? She roared crazily. In addition, the people of the Twin of Destiny clan were also stunned. What the hell is going on? His opponent's sword chi was too cold. Lin Xian snorted coldly. What? Do you still think I can't kill you? Damn it. Yin Yu was enraged. Suddenly, an extremely terrifying radiance erupted from her eyes. Between her cracked eyebrows, a pair of eyes appeared. One was as black as ink, while the other was as bright as the sun. His eyes were completely opposite, piercing through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Lin Xian felt as if his soul was about to be penetrated. His chi and blood roiled. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. What's going on? The dark red divine dragon and the others were shocked. Brat, are you alright? The toad also jumped up. Yin Yu snorted coldly. Her voice was no longer pleasant to the ears. Instead, it had become low and hoarse. Stupid thing, you actually dare to go against me? Do you think you have what it takes? The ancestor has descended. When the powerhouses of the Twin of Destiny clan saw this scene, they all prostrated on the ground. They kept kowtowing. In front, Yin Yu stood there, and a terrifying light condensed on her body. Her power had become even more strange than before. She stretched out her claws and grabbed forward. "Ant, go to hell." The dark red divine dragon and the others cried out in alarm. They wanted to go forward to help, but they were sent flying by a slap. They spat out large mouthfuls of blood. How did this guy's power become so strong? They were shocked. He was probably possessed by something. The dark red divine dragon's eyes were red. In an instant, the palm enveloped Lin Xian and ended the battle. The deep voice chuckled. Pooh. The sound of a dragon rang out. The sword chi was like a dragon directly slashing on this palm. A sonorous sound rang out, accompanied by a mournful scream. That palm quickly retreated. Blood dripped from it. The entire palm split from the middle. Lin Xian retreated as well. Sword aura circled around him. She said coldly, I didn't expect you to hide such a thing in your body. It's just a wisp of aura. Do you really dare to fight against me? Kill. He used the dragon-shaped sword chi to the extreme. That terrifying phantom kept retreating. In the end, it hid in Yin Yu's body. A crazy roar rang out. Damn it! What kind of power is this? An invincible power. Did that sword appear again? He was angry. This power was actually suppressing him. Lin Xian snorted. Do you think I can't find you if you hide in there? He used the heavenly secret divine eyes. A pair of godlike eyes looked down from the void. The reincarnation fire. An extremely terrifying flame descended. The reincarnation fire locked onto that phantom. Crazy roars came from inside. One moment, the death chi was monstrous as if it had turned into hell. The next moment, there were thousands of rays of light and lotuses of laws blooming in the 9 heavens. Everyone was shocked by the horrifying scene. I found you. Destroy. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Yin Yu became terrified. She felt that her life was quickly draining away. However, she couldn't resist at all. At this moment, there was a powerful force controlling her. Was she going to die? She realized that she was going to die in the hands of the ancestor she worshipped. At this moment, there was even a trace of desolation in her heart. Their Destiny Gemini clan worshipped 2 totem-like figures, the good and evil ones. Only the top geniuses and powerhouses in the clan would be favored by these 2 old masters. The aura of the ancestor was hidden in the body. It would only appear when one's life was in danger. Usually, Yin Yu couldn't sense it. However, she realized that this aura was too strong. Once it was summoned, it wouldn't be under her control at all. Even if she could kill the enemy, she wouldn't be able to survive. It was uncertain whether this body was hers or not. This was their ancestor. Wasn't he supposed to protect them? Why did he want to destroy them? There were tears in her beautiful eyes. Damn it! The power in Yin Yu's body burned as she launched a shocking attack. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A Taiji diagram appeared in front of him and rotated rapidly. The laws of Yin and Yang condensed. Do you think you're the only one who can use such power? Suppress him. The Taiji diagram rotated rapidly. The good and evil ones roared crazily. He felt that he was being torn apart by two forces. In the end, the two of them were completely enveloped by the Taiji diagram and suppressed in different spaces. Breakthrough space. Two voices sounded. However, at this moment, a dragon-shaped sword shadow pierced through the 9 heavens. It instantly killed the two of them. Roar. Ant, how dare you hurt my clone? I won't let you off. The roar overturned heaven and earth. In the end, it disappeared into thin air. Lin Xian's face was pale. He didn't expect this battle to be so dangerous. He almost fell for it. Chapter 51:13. Just as he heaved a sigh of relief, there was another change in front of him. The broken good and evil children actually appeared again, which made Lin Xian frown. Back then, he pierced through two figures with one sword, and there was still a time difference. Could he revive them with just this little time difference? Did he really have to kill them at the same time? In front of him, the good and evil children that were condensed were very weak. Kid, I won't let you go. He enveloped Yunyue and turned to escape. Want to escape? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Seal me. The Taiji diagram flew out again and kept spinning, enveloping the good and evil children respectively. This time he sealed them. It's useless. You can't kill me. He roared crazily. But this time Lin Xian didn't plan to kill him. After sealing him with the Taiji diagram, Lin Xian used the power of the heaven-swallowing jar to form a vortex and swallowed the Taiji diagram. No. Feeling the power of the heaven-swallowing earth, the good and evil children roared crazily. However, he was still completely swallowed. This time, the aura between heaven and earth disappeared. How was it? Did he kill him? In the distance, the dark red divine dragon and the others flew over and asked quickly. He was shocked by the previous battle. It was even more terrifying than the battle between Lin Xian and Bailey Wuck. They weren't dead yet. Lin Xian shook his head. They weren't dead yet. I used the Taiji diagram to suppress them, and the heaven-swallowing jar. They couldn't escape. Moreover, these were only 2 clones. What? Were the clones so powerful? The toad was surprised. In the distance, the people of the Twins of Destiny knelt on the ground and roared crazily. Ancestor. They were even more shocked. Although these were just clones, they were the clones of their ancestor. To be precise, they were the clones of their ancestor. The Twins of Destiny were born from the very beginning. They thought that they were the descendants of the good and evil children. Now the clones of their ancestor were suppressed by a young man. This was too unbelievable. Had this young man already reached such a terrifying stage? Kid, what do you plan to do? The dark red divine dragon asked. Whitey also jumped over. Lin Xian gave little White a spirit fruit and said, I want to see his real body. What? You want to see their real bodies? This was too dangerous. That was an existence akin to their ancestors. The toad also said, You will anger the entire Twin of Destiny. Lin Xian said, Don't worry, I'm going to study their powers. It can make my Taiji diagram even stronger. The Taiji diagram possessed the power of Yin and Yang, which was one of the world's origin powers. However, as Lin Xian learned all kinds of secret techniques and mastered the power of reincarnation, Lin Xian was able to become a powerful cultivator. There was also the inheritance of the great emperor. The Taiji diagram could no longer keep up with his strength, so he rarely used it. However, Lin Xian knew that it wasn't that the Taiji diagram was weak, but that it was very difficult for him to greatly increase the power of the Taiji diagram. Unless he had a lot of Yin and Yang energy. This time, the good and evil children might be able to improve his Taiji diagram. In this way, he could become even stronger. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to make a trip to the Twin of Destiny clan. Even if he couldn't find the ancestor, he had to find enough power to improve his Taiji diagram. What about those people? Lin Xian turned his head and looked. He used the Shadowless Heavens net and the Azura Sword technique to kill them. Those people resisted and wanted to escape. However, Lin Xian used the demon god's wings and his speed was extremely fast. In the end, the 7 members of the Twin of Destiny clan fell. There was only one person left. It was Yinyu. At this moment, Yinyu was incomparably weak. She fell to the ground, her face filled with despair. Previously, the good and evil children he summoned had already burned his strength in order to escape. He was severely injured. It was impossible for him to even escape now. Was he going to die here today? Yinyu was unwilling. He could be said to be the top in the family, and was thought highly of by the patriarch and ancestors. Yinyu even felt that he could compete with the emperor. Moreover, he did have such strength. This was a person who was going to become a great emperor in the future. Was he going to die here now? And this Lin Wudi, he had never taken him seriously before. He even promised the undead race that he would take revenge. But now he was going to die in the hands of the other party. How ironic. Lin Xian said, "Do you want to live?" Hearing this, Yinyu's body trembled. Her empty eyes suddenly lit up. "You're willing to let me go?" He was so excited that he was trembling. "Impossible. What are you plotting?" Lin Xian smiled. "What do you think of what happened before? Do you think the good and evil children you summoned were really protecting you?" Hearing this, Yinyu fell silent. She gritted her teeth and said, "You want to sow discord and make me betray the family?" Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Do you think you won't be suspected after you go back? I've already suppressed those 2 people, and you can still go back alive. Won't the people of your family doubt you?" "Damn it!" Yinyu shouted angrily. "I can prove my loyalty to the family." Lin Xian smiled. "Then what? Then the ancestor's clone would be planted, using your body as nourishment, providing strength for the ancestor? In the end, you're just a pitiful worm. Don't say any more." Yinyu roared crazily. This matter had a deep impact on him. As a top genius, he naturally noticed it. What did the family treat her as? Treated her as soil? At the moment of crisis, she would be consumed. In fact, she felt that this was a conspiracy from the beginning. What are the good and evil children trying to do? Lin Xian said, "Has your Destiny Gemini clan never doubted it? Could it be that there were no geniuses and powerhouses who died inexplicably before?" As soon as these words came out, Yinyu's heart trembled. She remembered something. That was that in the past 10,000 years, there had been several times when the top geniuses of their family had inexplicably died. In the end, they couldn't even find a trace and were treated as unsolved cases. Not only were the Destiny twins surprised, but even the entire Yuheng continent was puzzled. Everyone was looking for them, but they couldn't find them at all. Now it seemed that it was very likely that the good and evil children did it. Could it be? Yinyu was terrified. Lin Xian said, "It depends on your strength. The twins of destiny should be at the top of the younger generation. Haven't you thought about your fate? Join forces with me and I'll give you a chance to live. What do you want?" Yinyu gritted her teeth and said, "If I join forces with you, will you let me go?" "You don't understand our Destiny twins," Lin Xian said. "Then do you understand me? You've even summoned the ancestor's clone, but it's different. You can't do anything to me. Believe me, I can control your fate." A golden light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes, and the power of reincarnation was displayed. Yinyu's soul shook. She felt as if the other party was a god looking down at her. At this moment, she became incomparably small. What kind of eyes are those? It's too terrifying. Chapter 51:14. Yinyu felt that she was about to collapse. Under this pair of eyes, she couldn't resist at all. Could it be that she was going to become the other party's puppet? But after waiting for a while, she realized that the other party didn't do anything to her soul. This surprised her. Lin Xian said coldly, "The 2 ancestors you respect are very strong. If I plant a soul restriction on you, they will discover it in an instant. So I won't do anything to you. As for whether you want to cooperate or not, I will only give you one chance. If you cooperate, I will let you go, and we will work together. If you object, I will destroy your soul now. Yinyu was surprised. Aren't you afraid that I will agree first and then go back on my word? Lin Xian smiled. It seems that you still don't understand me. If you do this, no matter where you escape to, or the depths of the universe, even if you have the entire Fate Clan to protect me, I can still send you to hell. Lin Xian's voice wasn't soft, but it was filled with infinite confidence. Yinyu's heart trembled. She didn't doubt that the other party had this ability. Okay. I will cooperate with you. Yinyu gritted her teeth and said. There was no other way. She was still young. She didn't want to die. If she went back like this, she would be suspected by the family. There was even a possibility that the ancestor would plant another clone. This way, she wouldn't be able to control herself. She didn't want such a fate. As a top expert, she even had the chance to become a great emperor. How could she be willing to be controlled by others? Although she was cooperating with Lin Xian now, she was also being led by Lin Xian. But she was different. Lin Xian wouldn't have any restrictions on her. So she still had a chance in the future. Comparing the two, Yinyu decided to be the other party. Sighing, Yinyu smiled bitterly. It seemed that even if the other party succeeded, she wouldn't be able to stay in the family in the future. That meant that this time when she went back, she had to obtain enough resources and escape immediately. Or even escape from this star world. Go to the depths of the universe, and wait for him to fully mature before returning. Get up and recover from your injuries first. Then we will go to your Fate Clan's territory. The Fate Clan. They occupied endless territory, and even had endless worlds in their hands. Because they were a top desolate ancient family. At this moment, in the Fate Clan's territory, in an ancient palace, it let out a crazed roar. The surrounding void shattered, and the nearby forest collapsed. It was as if the end of the world had arrived. The demonic beasts outside prostrated themselves on the ground. Even the members of the Fate Clan were terrified. The elders all stood up. What was going on? What happened? Not good. A few guards ran out, their bodies trembling. This was the ancestral hall. The voice came from the ancestral hall. Damn it, something has happened. Hurry up and inform the patriarch. Countless people began to move. A few figures quickly descended in a majestic hall, as the sky and earth bobbed up and down. They were the elders of the Fate Clan. These people looked panicked. Old ancestor, something bad has happened. Their voices rang out. In the hall, a man opened his eyes. This man had a white face and no beard, and he looked like a scholar. However, the aura on his body was extremely terrifying. The two phantoms exuded completely opposite powers. It made one's heart crumble just by looking at it. The stars in the man's eyes were extinguished, and the terrifying heaven and earth anomaly in the sky disappeared. All of it entered his body. He said in a low voice, "What's the matter? I heard a roar coming from the ancestral hall. Did something happen?" Hearing this, the Fate Clan leader's expression changed. "What did you say?" This time his face was no longer calm. He instantly appeared outside the main hall. "Let's go." Their figures flickered, and they disappeared. When they reappeared, they were already in the ancestral hall. This was an old house. It was unusually simple, and it gave off a desolate aura. Here, everyone was very careful. Usually, no one could enter this place, except for a few elders and the patriarch. The other guards were also standing guard outside. But today, everyone was here. It was just that no one dared to enter. "Let go, the patriarch is here." A voice rang out. Everyone turned around, and saw the patriarch and a few core elders walking over. Seeing the patriarch, they quickly bowed. "Patriarch, please go take a look." An elder advised the Fate Clan. The patriarch nodded and walked in with a cold expression. The others could only watch with their eyes wide open. The few core elders also stopped. The Fate Clan leader walked in himself. The ancestral hall was a little dim, and it wasn't as small as he imagined. It could be said that the space was incomparably vast. Half of the heaven and earth in the ancestral hall was holy, like a paradise on earth. The other half was pitch black, like the 18 levels of hell. It was like the boundary between Chu and Han, clear and distinct. The Fate clan leader walked over and stood at the boundary. He looked forward and said respectfully. He didn't know what had disturbed the patriarch. Why was the patriarch so angry? Buzz. The statue of the good son appeared in the paradise ahead. The statue of the evil son appeared in the 18 levels of hell. The two statues seemed to have come to life, and their eyes burst out with an extremely terrifying light. Their voices rang out as well. Someone actually destroyed my clone and even suppressed it. This is unforgivable. What? The patriarch's clone was destroyed? That's impossible. The Fate clan leader was also surprised. He knew how terrifying the patriarch's clone was. It was impossible for it to die. It was even impossible to suppress it. But now, someone had done it. Damn it, I don't know. After my clone was suppressed, I couldn't send any information. But I know whose clone was destroyed. It was Yinyue who found him. He had to find out who did it. He had to tear that person into pieces. Yinyue. The Fate clan leader was even more shocked. Didn't Yinyue leave the family to go to the underworld? Could it be that something happened during this period? Just who was it that made this move? He guessed that it was someone who could make their patriarch so shocked. Probably only a few top remote antiquity families could do it. It might even be a peerless expert of the emperor family who did it. Regarding this matter, they didn't seem to have offended these people. There was no need to care about their identity. This time, even if it was the emperor's son who did it, he wanted to bring that person over. I want to let him know the consequences of offending me. The statues of the good son and evil son roared crazily. The surrounding mountains of corpses and seas of blood, and the sky full of multicolored light dancing in the sky, made the Fate clan leader's scalp tingle. He hurriedly lowered his head. Patriarch, don't worry. I'll send someone to find him. After saying that, he walked out respectfully and left the ancestral hall. Only then did he raise his head. Then a sharp light burst out from his eyes. The people outside were waiting. When they saw the patriarch come out, they all walked up. What was going on with the patriarch? Those elders were hiding their doubts. An extremely sharp light burst out from the Fate clan leader's eyes. Chapter 51:15. An old man walked out from the crowd with a puzzled look on his face. He was the 8th elder. Why is the patriarch looking for me? Where is Yinyue now? The patriarch asked. The 8th elder was stunned. Yinyue was his granddaughter, and also a top genius of the Destiny Twins clan. She was the pride of their bloodline. The 8th elder was still happy at this moment. It seemed that their patriarch really cared about Yinyue. He smiled and thanked the patriarch for his concern. Yinyue had gone to the underworld and had already returned. It would not take many days for her to return to the clan. Send a message for her to come back immediately. Then bring her to see me. Don't waste a moment, understand? The 8th elder nodded in understanding. What happened to the patriarch? The Destiny patriarch said that he would know when Yinyue came. Hurry up and go. The 8th elder quickly went to act, and the other people also dispersed one after another. The Destiny patriarch stood there with his hands behind his back. His eyes were shining with a piercing cold light. Yinyue was still alive, but the clone in Yinyue's body was broken. It was really strange. Who could have such a method? Could it be that those old monsters of the monarch race really made a move? It shouldn't be. There was more than one monarch race, and they all restrained each other. Their clan was different from the sacred realm, so they wouldn't attract the crazy attacks of the monarch race. Moreover, so what if they did? He had absolute confidence in their patriarch. As long as the Destiny Twins didn't die at the same time, they could be reborn endlessly. This was their greatest ability. On the other side, Lin Xian and Yinyue were ready to move after joining forces. Before going to the Destiny clan, he first returned to the Phoenix clan. After explaining to Morong Qingcheng, he set off with Yinyue. This trip would probably take 1 or 2 months. On the spirit boat, Lin Xian and the others were cultivating inside. Yinyue was seriously injured and had not fully recovered yet. However, What surprised her was that Lin Xian recovered in a few days. She was shocked. What kind of healing method was this? It was terrifying to such an extent. Could it be that the other party had some secret technique or shocking heavenly treasure? She wasn't sure. She felt that the young man in front of her was like a cloud of fog that she couldn't see clearly at all. After flying for more than a month, a deafening sound came from the front. Someone was blocking their path. If you want to pass through here, hand over your storage rings. Inside the spirit boat, the dark red dragon and the toad opened their eyes. Someone actually dared to rob them? Did he have a death wish? Just as they were about to make a move, an earth-shattering sound came from the front. The extremely terrifying thunder pierced through the 9 heavens, causing the two of them to be astonished. Damn, they were experts and there were quite a few of them. Lin Xian opened his eyes, stood up, and walked out to take a look. They walked out and saw many people hovering in the sky outside. They had lightning on their bodies, as well as this gloomy power. Who are you? Why are you blocking my way? Lin Xian said coldly. Brat, you don't even know us? We are from the Lei Han clan. If he wanted to go over, he would have to obediently hand over all his treasures. Do you want to go to hell? You choose one. A piercingly cold voice sounded, and there were dozens of figures standing around. Every single one of them was incredibly powerful. The toad snorted coldly. Humph, what kind of Lei Han clan is this? How dare you rob people? How shameful. Has your family become so poor? Damn it, do you want to die? The people from the Lei Han clan were enraged. He slapped his palm over, and a white thunder streaked across the sky. Wherever it passed, it would first freeze and then shatter. The toad was shocked and quickly dodged. Damn, you have some skills. Let me spar with you. He wanted to make a move. At this moment, the experts in the surroundings also surrounded them. Lin Xian and the other two, while the other party had more than 30 people. Such a huge disparity made the people from the Lei Han clan sneer. Lin Xian's face darkened. It seemed like they were going to make a move. However, at this moment, a figure walked out from the black earth behind them. Stop! Who dares to meddle in our affairs? The people from the Lei Han clan shouted angrily. They looked into the distance. Someone sneered. Oh, what a beautiful woman. We are in luck today. Kill these 3, and this woman will be ours. A few of the young saints began to laugh. They stared at Yunyu with greed in their eyes. However, at this moment, an elder looked over and his pupils constricted. In the next moment, a slap landed on the faces of those young sages. A few of them were sent flying, and their faces were smashed. Elder, why did you hit us? Their faces were filled with confusion. They were all stunned. The great elder kicked a few more people a few more times, and they were beaten into pieces, screaming miserably. The elder said, Do you want to die? Don't you know who the other party is? All of you kneel down. The few young people's broken bodies recovered, and they were so frightened that they knelt on the ground. They were terrified. Who was that woman in front of them? How could she make their elder so scared? Under their shocked gazes, the elder of the Lei Han clan ran over with a smile. Greetings, Fairy Yu. I didn't expect you to be here. We were really blind. Please spare us, Fairy Yu. The elder almost knelt on the ground. The young warriors behind were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. This woman's background was too big. He was actually able to make their elders act so respectfully. Who was she? Yunyu sneered. The Lei Han clan is so arrogant. Chapter 51:16. Lin Xian squinted his eyes as he looked at the people in front of him. Let's do as they say. Hand over all your storage rings and treasures, and you can live. Otherwise, you'll go to hell. The moment he said that, the Lei Han tribe's faces changed. They didn't hesitate to rob because their resources were running out. Now that they had to hand over all their remaining resources, wouldn't that be asking for their lives? They hesitated. Yunyu snorted. Why? Mister has already spared your lives and you still dare to resist? Do you want to die? We don't dare. The Lei Han tribe shook their heads. If they angered Yunyu, none of them would be able to live. Old Zhang said. Quickly hand over your storage ring and all the treasures on you. In the end, the dark red divine dragon collected the mountain of treasures and storage rings, and went back in high spirits. The Lei Han tribe looked at the back view of the group of people leaving, and they cried in regret. This time, they really kicked an iron plate. Haha, what a great harvest! What a surprise! The dark red divine dragon started to classify the storage rings and treasures. Even Lin Xian's lips curled up as he looked at Yinyu. Looks like you're famous. Yinyu lowered her head. She didn't dare to. Compared to Mr., her reputation was nothing. Mr. was the one who truly shocked the world. It was just that young master was elusive, and they had eyes but failed to recognize him. Lin Xian smiled. To be honest, he was surprised. With her identity, it would be hard for her to adapt to being a servant. However, Yinyu didn't seem to be bothered. It seemed like her desire to live was beyond his imagination. This way he could control her better. She better not play any tricks with him. Otherwise, he would make her regret being born in this world. The group continued to fly. A month later, the spiritual boat stopped. Yinyu looked ahead and said, "This is the territory of our lineage." "Is that so? Then let's go." Lin Xian knew that as a top clan of the ancients, the core elders had their own territories. They even had many worlds in their hands. These were their powerful resources and foundations, but Lin Xian was not afraid. Lin Xian had witnessed a truly peerless battle. Back when the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty destroyed Spirit Realm, it was a battle like this. No matter how much power you have, no matter how many worlds you have, everything will be destroyed. Only personal strength was the most important thing. Lin Xian wanted to walk the same path. I don't care what family you're from, or what power you're from, I'll break it all by myself. After flying for less than 2 days, the spirit boat was stopped again. Lin Xian frowned. The dark red godly dragon also said, "I say, don't tell me you were robbed in your own clan's territory." Even Yinyu was furious this time. "Who was so blind?" she said. "I'll go out and take a look. Young master, don't worry." Yinyu walked out, and the dark red dragon followed closely behind. He was afraid that the other party would run away. After exiting, he discovered that there were 3 war chariots parked in front of him. Figures flickered on the chariot. One of the women walked over. "Sister Yinyu, are you back?" This woman was also very beautiful, and there was a rune between her eyebrows. She was also from the Twin of Destiny clan. Yinling in such a big clan, the open and secret fights between each other were very terrifying. After all, no one wanted to be overshadowed by others. Moreover, status was related to resources. In a situation where one's talent was similar, the more resources one had, the better one's future achievements would be. Hence, in such a big clan, every genius was basically an enemy. Or rather, a sworn enemy. Previously, Yinyu's talent was unparalleled, and she suppressed the other geniuses until they couldn't raise their heads. Although everyone was angry, they didn't dare to show it. They could only smile every day and hope to curry favor with the other party. Now it was different. The patriarch personally asked Yinyu to go back. It was even related to the old ancestor going crazy, so they felt that this was an opportunity. "Yinling, you dare to speak to me like this? Do you want to die?" Yinyu's body emitted a biting cold aura. In the surroundings, the members of the Twin of Destiny clan were trembling. They wouldn't forget what kind of woman she was. She was simply a queen-like existence. Offending her would end up worse than death. Hence they trembled. Yinling, who was in front, sneered. "You are really as arrogant as ever. But it's a pity that you are different from before. Do you still think that you are high and mighty and a goddess-like existence? It's useless. You have angered the patriarch, and he will send you back. Now grandfather has also received the order. You'd better follow me obediently. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that you won't be injured. After all, as long as you don't die, I will have completed my mission." Extremely sharp killing intent bloomed in her eyes. She had long wanted to make a move on the other party. Now was a good opportunity. Yinyu was indeed mad. At the same time, she was shocked. It seemed that the family had already known the news. Were they going to make a move on her directly? Men suppressed them. Yinling waved her hand, and the powerhouses on the surrounding chariots all walked down. A terrifying aura enveloped Yinyu. Yinyu snorted coldly and struck out with her palm. 2 people were sent flying, and their bodies were shattered. Yinling sneered. You dare to make a move? Men, you guys make a move too. She was really too happy. If the other party left obediently, this might be a misunderstanding. But now the other party directly made a move on the family members. This had already broken the rules. She could also make a move without any scruples.